Chapter 448. You're not allowed to talk about him. Zhou Jia heard the young man calling Yang Ming a dead pig, so she said unhappily with a cold face. You're not allowed to talk about it? Why do you love this pretty boy so much? The young man said as he walked over and wanted to slap Yang Ming's face with his hand. Although Yang Ming was drunk and not very sober, as a strictly trained assassin, Yang Ming still maintained a trace of vigilance deep in his heart. If someone wanted to harm him, Yang Ming could still react quickly. Yang Ming was really drunk now, but he could still instinctively perceive the danger. When Yang Ming felt the wind on his face, he suddenly stretched out his hand and slapped the young man's face. With a crisp paw sound, the young man's left face was swollen. Yang Ming also slightly sobered up. A person's potential was unlimited. In an instant, Yang Ming's reason overcame the paralysis of the alcohol in his body. Yang Ming tried to open his eyes, but he found that he couldn't do it. Yang Ming could still control the large muscles, but for the small nerves on the face like the eyelids, Yang Ming couldn't control them. However, what made Yang Ming feel strange was that although his eyes were closed, everything in front of him was clear. It was like when he opened his eyes. Right, Yang Ming suddenly remembered that his eyes had the ability to see through things. In other words, he could see things outside through the eyelids. This was also a use of his special ability. Being able to see the young man in front of him clearly, Yang Ming was more skilled in fighting people. Motherfucker, you want to sneak attack me when I'm drunk? I'll slap you to death. The young man didn't think that Yang Ming, who was like a dead pig just now, could suddenly explode. Moreover, when he was unprepared, he was caught off guard and embarrassed. Before he could figure out what was going on, he was knocked to the ground by Yang Ming's uppercut. He couldn't get up. Another young man saw that his companion was beaten and suddenly became anxious. He picked up a board on the side of the road and wanted to hit Yang Ming's head. Although Yang Ming's eyes were closed as if he was drunk, he could see it clearly. Moreover, what surprised Yang Ming was that after he closed his eyes, not only could he see the things in front of him, but he could also see the things behind him clearly. In other words, Yang Ming's eyes now had a 360-degree wide angle, and he could see every corner in front and behind him. This was a situation that had never happened before, or he had never tried it before. After all, Yang Ming couldn't close his eyes unless he was sleeping at night. However, when he was sleeping, Yang Ming didn't think about using his special ability at all. This discovery immediately surprised Yang Ming. It seems that it is as I expected. This pair of glasses not only has the three functions of X-ray vision, telescopic vision and night vision. It also has other functions, but I haven't found them yet. For example, I haven't figured out the ability to see other people's thoughts. But today, because of a strange combination of circumstances, Yang Ming discovered another awesome function of the glasses. 360-degree wide angle. This is quite useful, especially when I'm an assassin. When I close my eyes, I don't have to be afraid that someone will sneak and attack. In other words, when I was in the college entrance examination, I was worried about whether I would be assigned to the first table in the exam, which would affect my cheating. If I knew about this function of the glasses, I would be able to see in all directions when I close my eyes. However, sometimes, the saying that extreme joy begets sorrow was very reasonable. Yang Ming was shocked because he discovered an important new function of his special ability, so it caused a pause in his action. This pause wasn't good. The back of Yang Ming's head was hit by the board in the hands of the young man who came up from behind. When he went out to mingle in the underworld, Yang Ming had also been hit on the head with something like a brick. His head was very hard, but he drank today. His head was a little muddled and he was even more dizzy when he was hit by the board. However, Yang Ming's willpower was much stronger than ordinary people. Before he fell, he still struggled to resist. He kicked the person's lower abdomen and kicked him 4 or 5 meters away. He hit a Santana car parked on the side of the road not far away. The young man's head directly hit the windshield of the Santana, breaking the windshield. As for Yang Ming, after knowing that the danger alarm was activated, he continued to fall dizzily. In fact, the board wasn't very heavy. The reason why Yang Ming fell was mostly because of the alcohol in his body. But Zhou Jia didn't know. She thought that Yang Ming was hit by the young man, so she was immediately scared out of her wits. She subconsciously hugged Yang Ming. Yang Ming, what happened to you? Wake up. Yang Ming didn't wake up this time. Perhaps in the depths of Yang Ming's heart his hostility to Zhou Jia had slowly disappeared, but he still didn't know it. At least this time he didn't beat Zhou Jia up reflexively. Looking at Yang Ming's expressionless face without any reaction, Zhou Jiejie was a little overwhelmed. She didn't know where she got the strength. She gritted her teeth and carried Yang Ming from the ground. She hurriedly ran to the side of the road and reached out to stop a taxi that passed by here. Seeing that Zhou Jiejie, a girl, was struggling to carry a man, the taxi driver quickly got off and helped her open the back door. When she got in the car, he asked, "Did you drink too much?" "Oh, I was hit by two bad guys with a board." "Mister, go to the nearest hospital." Zhou Jiejie shook her head anxiously and said, "Oh, you were hit? Do we need to call the police?" The taxi driver asked subconsciously, "What police? Let's go to the hospital first." "Hurry up," Zhou Jiejie said anxiously. "Okay." The taxi driver looked at Zhou Jiejie's pitiful appearance and sympathized with her. He quickly started the car. "Go to the people's hospital? And the sooner the better," said Zhou Jiejie. "They got it. We'll be there soon. Sit tight. I'm going to race." As the taxi driver said this, the car jumped out like a rocket. Fortunately, there weren't many cars at night. They didn't encounter any obstacles along the way. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the First People's Hospital of Songjiang City. Zhou Jiejie paid the taxi fare and carried Yang Ming to the emergency room. She ran and said to herself, "Yang Ming, you can't have anything happen to you." Her voice had a sobbing tone. The taxi driver looked at Zhou Jiejie's back. He couldn't help but be stunned. This little girl looks weak, but she can actually carry a man? And she runs so fast. It's incredible. Zhou Jiejie didn't consider the problem of whether she could carry Yang Ming. So what if she couldn't carry him? Wasn't she carrying him now? What Zhou Jiejie was thinking now was to find someone to treat Yang Ming. Doctor, please help me take a look. How is he?" When they entered the hospital, Zhou Jiejie saw a man in a white coat. She quickly stopped in front of him and said, "Little girl, don't worry. I'm not a doctor. I'm from the pharmacy. If you want to see a doctor, you have to go there to register first." The white coat kindly explained. "Oh, registration. Yes, I have to register. I'll go now. Thank you." Zhou Jiejie just remembered that she had to register to see a doctor in the hospital. She quickly thanked him and carried Yang Ming to register. "Little girl, aren't you tired? You put him on the chair on the side first. You just have to register." The white coat was a little dumbfounded. "No, I have to look at him at all times." Zhou Jiejie shook her head firmly. "You are so good to your boyfriend." The white coat didn't force it. He sighed and said, "Ugh." Zhou Jiejie's face blushed, but then it was filled with endless worry. Someone said that Yang Ming was her boyfriend. She should be happy, but she didn't have the mood to be happy. Fortunately, there was no one to register at night. Zhou Jiejie directly paid the money and got an emergency number. She carried Yang Ming and quickly ran to the emergency room. "Doctor, you save him." Zhou Jiejie rushed into the emergency room and shouted to the doctor inside. "Don't be nervous. Tell me what happened to the patient first." The doctor in the emergency room stood up and greeted them. He began to look at Yang Ming. "He fainted," Zhou Jiejie said. "Such a strong smell of alcohol. Did he drink too much?" The doctor frowned and said, "Little girl, are you too nervous? The patient just drank too much, right?" No, he was hit on the head with a board." Zhou Jiejie said in a hurry, "Doctor, take a closer look." "What? Hit by a board? Where was it hit?" The doctor asked quickly. Chapter 449. Here. Zhou Jiejie quickly gestured to the back of Yang Ming's head. The doctor's expression also became dignified. He carefully looked at Yang Ming's eyelids, then touched the back of Yang Ming's head and said, "There is nothing abnormal on the surface. How about this? You take him to do a CT scan and then I will see if there is any blood congestion." "Okay, I will go now." Zhou Jiejie nodded and said, "I will give you a bill. You take it and pay first." The doctor said, "The CT room is just ahead on the left. After you pay, you can go directly to the CT scan." Although Zhou Jiejie wanted the doctor to take the CT scan for Yang Ming first, she also knew the rules of the hospital. If you don't pay, it was impossible to see the doctor first. The doctor had no right to change it. She quickly ran to pay the money. Zhou Jiejie took Yang Ming to the CT room to take the CT scan. While waiting for the scan to be developed and printed, Zhou Jiejie asked about Yang Ming's situation in the emergency room. "Doctor, is he okay?" "I can't say for sure. I didn't take the CT scan." I can't see the inside. It looks fine from the outside. The doctor said, but if it is an internal injury it will be more serious. Is there any danger to his life? Zhou Jiejia was shocked and asked quickly. Looking at his current appearance, his life should not be in danger. The doctor said, but if he is really injured it is possible to leave some sequelae. What? There are sequelae? Zhou Jiejia was shocked and asked, what sequelae? For example, a vegetative state, hemiplegia and so on. The brain is the most mysterious part of our human beings. If it is injured it may cause many kinds of diseases. The doctor shook his head and said, but you can rest assured. The patient's age is not old. There should be no big problem. Thank you, Zhou Jiejia said with some sadness. Yang Ming was injured in order to protect her. At least Zhou Jiejia thought so. Yang Ming was already drunk to the point of being unconscious. When he saw that she was being bullied by the hooligans he was actually able to resist and protect her. This was really too precious. Therefore when Zhou Jiejia heard the doctor say that Yang Ming might have sequelae, she made a decision. No matter what happened to Yang Ming in the future she would take care of Yang Ming for a lifetime. Even if Yang Ming was in a vegetative state, Zhou Jiejia would never leave him. Moreover, Zhou Jiejia didn't think that she did this because of guilt. She was really willing from the bottom of her heart. In her opinion, no matter what, it was enough to be with Yang Ming. She was already very happy and satisfied. He was afraid that Yang Ming's current girlfriend would not even give him this opportunity. Because Zhou Jiejia felt that Yang Ming was a very good man, his girlfriend would not give up on Yang Ming because of this. At least Zhou Jiejia thought that she would never. After waiting anxiously for 20 minutes, the radiographic films came out. The doctor took the radiographic films and looked at them for a long time. Zhou Jiejia was also nervous for a long time. She didn't even dare to breathe. There is no problem. There is no congestion. Everything is normal. The doctor put down the radiographic films and said with a smile, don't worry. Really? Zhou Jiejia was somewhat skeptical, but there was excitement in her tone. Really? The doctor nodded affirmatively. Then why is he still not awake? Zhou Jiejia was still a little worried. Because he drank too much. The doctor smiled. Doctor, I am still a little worried. Is he really okay? Asked Zhou Jiejia. He is really fine. If you are still worried then I will give you a shot of hangover medicine. Give it to him and he will wake up in a while. The doctor saw that Zhou Jiejia was still worried so he said. Okay then let's do it. Well. Zhou Jiejia nodded and agreed. What should I do? I will give you a receipt. You go and pay. Right, do you want to do it here or in a temporary ward? Asked the doctor. Let's open a temporary ward. Zhou Jiejia didn't care about the money. Her family conditions were very good, so the concept of money wasn't very heavy. However, she never went out to show off like some rich young masters and young ladies. Zhou Jiejia only cared about two things. One was Yang Ming and the other was computer technology. A temporary ward is very expensive. It costs 300 yuan a night. It is almost the same as staying in a hotel. If you are in the emergency room you don't have to spend money. It is just a little noisy. The doctor saw that Zhou Jiejia and Yang Ming were both dressed as students, so he kindly reminded them. Thank you. But let's open a temporary ward. I don't want him to be disturbed. Zhou Jiejia nodded to the doctor. The doctor didn't say much. He wrote a receipt and handed it to Zhou Jiejia. After Zhou Jiejia paid the bill, she came to a ward on the second floor under the guidance of a nurse. The conditions of the ward were good. There were 2 single beds, a TV, air conditioning and a separate bathroom. However, Zhou Jiejia didn't come here to play. She was here to take care of Yang Ming, so she didn't have the mood to study the conditions here. After giving Yang Ming the medicine, the nurse put Yang Ming on an intravenous drip and said to Zhou Jiejia, the timing of the medicine is relatively slow. It will take about 3 hours. I will come over when it's almost time. If you have anything, you can also call me through the emergency nurse contact station button on the bed. Okay, I got it. Thank you. Zhou Jiejia nodded to the nurse. After sending her out, she closed the door of the ward. Poor Yang Ming. He was just drunk, but he was brought to the hospital by the anxious Zhou Jiejia. There was a CT scan and an N4 drip. I don't know how Yang Ming will feel when he wakes up. Zhou Jiejia sat quietly at Yang Ming's bed and looked at Yang Ming. Her eyes showed deep affection. I actually spent a night alone with Yang Ming. It's a wonderful feeling. Zhou Jiejia looked at Yang Ming's handsome face. She couldn't help but kiss him gently on his face. Then she immediately raised her head. She was afraid that she would be noticed by Yang Ming. She was like a child who had done something wrong. She didn't dare to breathe. After waiting for a long time, she didn't see any other reaction from Yang Ming. Zhou Jiejia was relieved. She lowered her head again and hesitated. This time she kissed Yang Ming's mouth. Anyway, the two people had kissed. Zhou Jiejia didn't care. Moreover, in her heart she could only like Yang Ming in this life. So she didn't feel frivolous about what she was doing now. Yang Ming didn't move, but Zhou Jiejia liked the feeling of stealing food. It was very comfortable and very exciting. It made Zhou Jiejia unable to extricate herself. Finally, she couldn't hold back her impulse. She kissed Yang Ming's face 3 times. Then she raised her head and continued to look at Yang Ming. Then she continued to kiss him. The nurse who passed by here for ward rounds saw the two people kissing together. She didn't want to disturb them. She left quietly after a glance. If Zhou Jiejia wasn't afraid that Yang Ming would suddenly wake up, she might have kept kissing. But she was also rational. She knew that now wasn't the time to do this kind of thing. After a few kisses, Zhou Jiejia quietly stayed by Yang Ming's side. Although Yang Ming was drunk, he still had some consciousness outside. He was half awake. Yang Ming felt that he seemed to have done something with the girl, but he didn't know the specifics. After a while, probably the antidote worked. Yang Ming's expressionless face suddenly frowned. Then he opened his eyes and looked at everything in front of him. When he saw Zhou Jiejia beside him, he couldn't help but ask, "Where is this?" "Yang Ming, you woke up?" Zhou Jiejia looked at Yang Ming in surprise. "That's great. Are you okay?" "What? Am I okay? What the hell is going on?" "Of course I'm okay," Yang Ming asked, baffled. "Yang Ming, do you have a headache?" Zhou Jiejia continued to ask. "Head? A little. What's wrong?" Yang Ming thought, what's wrong with this Zhou Jiejia? Why is she asking these inexplicable questions? Still hurts. That won't do. I have to call the doctor. Zhou Jiejia was shocked. She quickly stood up and wanted to go out. "Wait." Yang Ming suddenly shouted, "What did you say? What do you mean by a doctor? Don't you have a headache? So I will call the doctor." Zhou Jiejia thought, Yang Ming's brain can't be damaged, right? Why can't you understand such a simple logic? If I have a headache, why are you looking for a doctor? If you drink too much, you will have a headache. What's so strange? Yang Ming said helplessly, "But where am I?" Chapter 450. Weren't you hit on the head by the board? Zhou Jiejia asked carefully. "What board?" Yang Ming was stunned. "You mean the two punks?" "Yeah, weren't you hit on the head by the board and then fainted?" Zhou Jiejia nodded and said. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded. "The board? I was often hit when I was fighting in junior high school. I fainted because I was drunk." "Zhou Jiejia, is this the hospital?" And Zhou Jiejia saw that Yang Ming was fine, so she was relieved. However, she said with some embarrassment, "I'm sorry, Yang Ming. I thought you were hit by the board and fainted, so I sent you to the hospital." Sent me?" Yang Ming only remembered that he fainted at the time, and then his consciousness wasn't clear. "Yeah. I was too anxious," Zhou Jiejia whispered. "How did you get me to the hospital?" Yang Ming frowned and asked. "I took a taxi," Zhou Jiejia said. "I'm not asking about this. I mean, how did I get on the taxi? How did I move in the hospital?" Yang Ming stared at Zhou Jiejia and asked. I carried you." Zhou Jiejia's face suddenly turned red. "You could carry me?" Although Yang Ming had already faintly felt that this was the case, when he heard Zhou Jiejia say it, he was still shocked. Zhou Jiejia's weak body could actually carry me? "I don't know. I was anxious, so I didn't think so much." Zhou Jiejia looked at Yang Ming. She didn't know if he was angry or something else, so she stuttered a little. "Thank you, Zhou Jiejia." Yang Ming was really moved. Regardless of what Zhou Jiejia had done in the past, at this moment, Yang Ming really forgave her from the bottom of his heart. Not for anything else, but for the fact that she could be so enthusiastic about him and send him to the hospital. This affection was not ordinary. At this moment, Yang Ming also accepted Zhou Jiejia as a friend in his heart. Thank me?" When Zhou Jiejia heard Yang Ming's words, she was a little dumbfounded. "You don't blame me for taking the initiative to send you to the hospital? You're just being nice. Why would I blame you?" Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Zhou Jejia, to be honest, no matter what, I have to thank you this time. Your starting point is right. Hee hee. Zhou Jejia smiled shyly. This was the first time that Yang Ming had praised her. Zhou Jejia was very happy. However, I want to know now. What is this thing in my hand? Yang Ming pointed to the drip on his hand and asked. This is an antidote. The doctor said that you were in a coma because you drank too much wine. I was a little worried. I was afraid that there was still a problem with your head. I wanted to see if there were any other problems after you woke up. Zhou Jejia said embarrassedly. I see. Yang Ming smiled indifferently. He couldn't blame Zhou Jejia. After all, Zhou Jejia was doing it for his own good. But I have to go to the toilet now. Can you call the nurse to come over and pull out this bottle first? Zhou Jejia was stunned and said quickly, Okay, I will call the nurse. As she said this, she pressed the button of the emergency nurse contact station on the bed and called the nurse on duty. It didn't take long for the nurse on duty to arrive. When she entered the room, she asked, What's the matter? Nurse, I want to go to the toilet. Yang Ming said. Oh, you're awake? The nurse on duty asked, Since you're awake, you can go to the toilet if you want to. Isn't there a toilet in your ward? Why did you call me here? I mean, can you pull out the needle of this drip first? When I come back, can you put it in for me? Yang Ming pointed to the infusion device in his hand and asked. Why is it so troublesome? The nurse on duty frowned. Just take the infusion bottle to the toilet. But my hands aren't enough. I'm not an octopus. I have a needle in one hand and an infusion bottle in the other. How can I undo my pants? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Let your girlfriend help you. The nurse on duty rolled her eyes and thought, why is this person so stupid? My girlfriend? Yang Ming was stunned and then looked at Zhou Jejia. Her? Yeah, why don't you just let her help you? Don't tell me you're shy. The nurse on duty snorted and thought, I just saw you two hugging each other and whispering sweet nothings to each other. She's not my girlfriend. Yang Ming shook his head and said helplessly. Not? How can it not be? The nurse on duty was also stunned. I just saw her. The nurse on duty was only halfway through her sentence when Zhou Jejia was shocked. She jumped up from Yang Ming's bed as if a spring was installed on her butt. She ran to the nurse on duty in 3 steps. Nurse? I'll help him. You can go ahead. Then she pushed the nurse on duty out of the door without any explanation. Although the nurse on duty was somewhat inexplicable, she didn't think much about it. She shook her head and left. Zhou Jejia's forehead was full of cold sweat. God, she actually saw me kissing Yang Ming secretly. Moreover, it was just a little bit more and the matter would have been exposed. Although Zhou Jejia liked Yang Ming, for a girl kissing a boy secretly was a shameful thing. If it was exposed, then she wouldn't be able to meet anyone in the future. Wouldn't it be too shameful? Therefore, Zhou Jejia was so anxious to push the nurse on duty out. But Yang Ming wondered, what is this Zhou Jejia doing? Zhou Jejia, why did you let her go? What should I do? I'm suffocating. Yang Ming said with a bitter face, I drank so much beer and was on the drip for so long. Let me help you hold the drip bottle. Zhou Jejia clenched her teeth and said with a red face. You. Yang Ming looked at Zhou Jejia. Are you kidding? What's wrong with you? I said I'll help you, so I'll help you. You're a man, yet you're so wishy-washy. Zhou Jejia listened to Yang Ming's words and knew that he was suffocating. She was afraid that Yang Ming would really suffocate, so she simply used the method of provocation. Why? Are you afraid that I'll see? Ugh. Yang Ming sighed. Zhou Jejia was a girl. She didn't care, so why should he care? It was just that he and Zhou Jejia weren't in a relationship. Yang Ming still felt a bit awkward. I was seen by you last time, but I didn't say anything. Why are you being so wishy-washy? Zhou Jejia was really afraid that Yang Ming wouldn't comply. She was determined and said with shyness. Okay. Yang Ming listened to Zhou Jejia and couldn't refuse anymore, so he carefully sat up from the bed. Zhou Jejia took Yang Ming's drip bottle and went to the bathroom with Yang Ming. He turned around. Yang Ming glanced at Zhou Jejia and said. And? Zhou Jejia nodded. She wasn't a perverted woman. Although she loved Yang Ming, she wouldn't want to peek at Yang Ming. After all, the psychology of girls and boys was different. Seeing that Zhou Jejia turned around, Yang Ming quickly unbuttoned his pants and peed. I almost peed my pants just now. Listening to the sound of the water behind her, Zhou Jejia was very shy, but she was very happy in her heart. After all, after experiencing the incident tonight, Her relationship with Yang Ming must have taken another step forward. Yang Ming didn't expect that he actually peed so much. No wonder he felt like he was about to explode. After peeing, Yang Ming took a long sigh of relief. Zhou Jejia heard that the sound of the water behind her stopped, but she didn't see Yang Ming speak for a long time, so she curiously turned around. Yang Ming, what are you doing? As soon as she spoke, Zhou Jejia's face was red again. She got up. Although Yang Ming finished peeing, his pants hadn't been pulled up yet. Zhou Jejia inevitably saw something that she shouldn't have seen. Yang Ming saw Zhou Jejia turn around and quickly pulled up his pants. He said with some embarrassment, "You really want to look back? Go away. How would I know what you are doing? I saw that you didn't move for a long time, so..." Zhou Jejia complained. Halfway through, Yang Ming went to the bathroom last time. It seemed that there was still a lot of water in the body. Plus, the drip bottle continued to inject water into the body, which was normal. However, after a few times, Zhou Jejia didn't dare to look back again. In her mind, there were still fragments of the picture at that time. When she thought about it, her face burned. It wasn't until 5 o'clock in the morning that Yang Ming's drip was completed. After the infusion set was removed, Yang Ming and Zhou Jejia left the hospital together. Chapter 451. How much did you spend? Although Yang Ming wasn't sick, Yang Ming also knew that he had to spend a lot of money to go to the hospital. Not much. You don't have to give it to me. Zhou Jejia smiled. How can that be? This trip must have cost a few hundred, right? Asked Yang Ming. More than 600, but it's okay. Aren't we good friends? Zhou Jejia smiled. Hee. Yang Ming also smiled and no longer insisted. At this moment he even had an illusion. If Zhou Jejia hadn't done that, how good would it have been? In that case, his relationship with Zhou Jejia should be closer than now. Although they couldn't be boyfriend and girlfriend, they should be confidants, right? After stopping a taxi, Yang Ming sent Zhou Jejia home first. The car stopped at the entrance of Zhou Jejia's community in Ruishi New City. Zhou Jejia looked at Yang Ming with some reluctance. She couldn't help but whisper, "Can you hug me?" Man's desires were the most difficult to satisfy. Although Zhou Jejia felt that this was inappropriate, she still had some extravagant hopes that she could go further with Yang Ming. Yang Ming was thinking about the 360-degree wide-angle special ability when he beat up the little punk, so he didn't hear what Zhou Jejia said. "What did you say?" asked Yang Ming. "No, nothing. I said, I will see you at school the day after tomorrow." How could Zhou Jejia have the courage to say it again? "Okay, see you the day after tomorrow." Yang Ming nodded. "Send me a text message when you go back. Let me know that you are safe." Although it was already dawn, there were still very few people in the community. Zhou Jejia came home so late because of him, so Yang Ming felt that it was necessary to care about her. Zhou Jejia replied with some excitement. "Yang Ming, is he caring about me?" Zhou Jejia felt so happy. "Be careful on the road." Yang Ming nodded to Zhou Jejia. Zhou Jejia didn't feel sleepy at all. She returned home happily. She picked up the phone and prepared to send a text message to Yang Ming, but she was unexpectedly tapped from behind. "Jejia, where did you go? Why are you only back now?" Zhou Jejia was shocked. She quickly put down her phone and turned around. "Mom, I'm going out to eat with my classmates." "I know you went out to eat with your classmates, but how can you eat until 5 in the morning?" Mother Zhou asked with a sullen face. "Jejia, did you do something you shouldn't have done?" "Mom, what did I do?" Zhou Jejia frowned and said with some grievance, "My classmate drank too much. I took him to the hospital. Is it a boy or a girl?" Mrs. Zhou asked seriously. Zhou Jejia didn't dare to hide it from her mother. "A man? Just you and him?" Mrs. Zhou's expression became serious. Yes. Zhou Jejia nodded. "Jejia, are you dating a friend?" Mrs. Zhou glanced at Zhou Jejia and asked. Don't ask. "I don't want to say." Zhou Jejia said in a hurry. "Jejia, you tell Mom the truth. Yes or no?" Mrs. Zhou asked. "Mom, what are you doing? So what if I am? So what if I'm not?" Zhou Jejia stood there with a bitter face. "Who is that boy? What does his family do?" Mrs. Zhou asked. "I know. Why are you asking this?" Zhou Jejia's good mood began to be depressed. "Why am I asking this? Isn't it because of you? Jejia, think about your own identity. Of course, you have to find someone of the same social status to date a friend. I must investigate the boy's family background. Mrs. Zhou said. Mom, why are you investigating this? Zhou Jiejia frowned and said carefully, besides, I haven't confirmed my relationship with him yet. No? Mrs. Zhou breathed a sigh of relief. It's good. Tell Mom who the boy is. I will find someone to investigate. If he is really a match for you, then Mom won't object to it. But if he isn't worthy of you, then you don't have to deal with him. Zhou Jiejia naturally knew what Yang Ming's family was like. When she heard her mother's words, she couldn't help but look gloomy. She said stubbornly, Mom, can you not worry about this matter? I will handle it myself. No. My son-in-law must be a match, otherwise your father will lose face. Mrs. Zhou said firmly. Mom, I'm tired. I want to rest. Zhou Jiejia was very helpless, but there was no other way. At this time, Zhou Jiejia's cell phone rang. Zhou Jiejia glanced at the caller ID on the cell phone. It was actually Yang Ming calling. Her heart was excited. She just wanted to answer it, but unexpectedly the cell phone was snatched by her mother. It didn't take long for Yang Ming to get home. He took a hot shower and washed away the smell of disinfectant on his body. Yang Ming was ready to go to bed, but he suddenly remembered that Zhou Jiejia hadn't sent him a text message yet. Yang Ming frowned. Did something happen to this chick? In the past, Yang Ming was too lazy to care about her, but now it was different. Yang Ming couldn't not worry about her. He quickly pulled up Zhou Jiejia's number and dialed it. After the call was connected, Yang Ming quickly asked, Zhou Jiejia, are you home? Why didn't you send me a text message to tell me that you are safe? Mother Zhou just saw the caller ID on the phone. At this moment, when she heard Yang Ming's tone, she immediately understood. It turned out that the boy who went out with her daughter was called Yang Ming. This time it was easier to handle when she knew the name. Oh, you're Yang Ming, right? Asked Mother Zhou. And Yang Ming was shocked. Motherfucker, am I so unlucky? This Zhou Jiejia was also kidnapped by others? Thinking of this, Yang Ming immediately asked, Who are you? Where is Zhou Jiejia? I am Zhou Jiejia's mother. Zhou Jiejia is already resting. Why are you looking for her? Said Mother Zhou. So that's it. Yang Ming breathed a sigh of relief. Most likely, Zhou Jiejia might be too tired and fell asleep when she got home. Yang Ming was relieved. I just want to confirm that Zhou Jiejia is home, so I am relieved. You are quite concerned about my Jiejia. Mother Zhou said, just now, did you go out with Jiejia? Yes, Auntie. Yang Ming said. I heard that you were hospitalized. Mother Zhou asked, is this the case? Yes, I have to thank Zhou Jiejia for this. As Yang Ming said this, a cloud of doubt rose in his heart. Wasn't Zhou Jiejia asleep? How could her mother know that I was hospitalized? What the hell is going on? It's okay. That's all for now, student Yang Ming. Mother Zhou said and hung up the phone. Yang Ming shook his head, threw the phone aside and went to bed. Zhou Jiejia looked at her mother with anger. Mom, how can you just pick up my phone call? What's wrong with that? Aren't you my child? Mother Zhou said disapprovingly, I know. Isn't his name Yang Ming? I will investigate him another day. Mom, I hate you. Zhou Jiejia grabbed her phone, and tears couldn't stop flowing. Zhou Jiejia felt wronged and sad. It was not easy to get closer to Yang Ming. It was not easy for Yang Ming to call for the first time to care about her, but she didn't pick up Yang Ming's family background. It was impossible to hide it from her mother. If her mother knew about it, she would definitely stop it. What should I do? Zhou Jiejia went to bed, covered her head with the quilt and cried with grievance. Mother Zhou sighed and said, Jiejia, Mom is doing this for your own good. You will understand in the future. I don't want to listen. Zhou Jiejia said painfully. Forget it. You think about it yourself. After that, Mother Zhou left Zhou Jiejia's room. Yang Ming was woken up by Yang Li's phone call. Yang Ming complained and picked up the phone. Yang Li was smart this time. She didn't call the landline at home, but directly harassed him through the phone. Hello. Yang Ming picked up the phone weakly. Yang Ming, why haven't you woken up yet? Are you still going to eat? Yang Li asked. How do you know I haven't woken up? Asked Yang Ming. Listening to your voice, I know you haven't woken up yet. I will pick you up at your door at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yang Li said, I set the time so I won't call you. Okay, what time is it now? Asked Yang Ming. It's not even 10 o'clock. Yang Li chuckled. Damn. Yang Ming almost went berserk. He yelled at the other end of the phone. Yang Li. I said you would come at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but you called me before 10 o'clock? Chapter 452. Yang Li smiled and hung up the phone. Yang Ming was so angry that he turned off the phone directly to prevent Yang Li from harassing him again. However, the phone was set as an alarm clock. He still couldn't miss the appointment because he did have something to do with Sun Jia. In a small hotel in Songjiang City, the two little hooligans who harassed Yang Ming and were beaten up by Yang Ming yesterday were being reprimanded by a young master. Are you two fucking pigheads? You are here to cause trouble? Don't you know that I have something important to do with you? The young master yelled angrily. I'm sorry, young master Sunday. We didn't expect this to happen. The face of the little hooligan was still swollen. It was smeared with medicinal wine. Yesterday he was slapped by Yang Ming. Obviously it wasn't light. Humph, you affect the appearance of the city. I am upset when I see you. The young master scolded. This young master was the young master of the Sun family, student Sun Jiwei. Yesterday he transferred two thugs from Donghai to teach Yang Ming a lesson. Originally, Sun Jiwei didn't like to play the tricks of the underworld. His character was still relatively childish. Therefore, the main means of attacking Yang Ming had always been the school method. He used the identity of the class cadre to trip up Yang Ming and complain about him. The reason why Sun Jiwei also played the underworld method was, of course, instigated by others. Who was this person? Who was the most willing to use this method to mess with others? The answer was obvious. Our first antagonist, Wang Jitao, was a master of this method. Last time, after Wang Jitao learned about Sun Jiwei's background from his father, Wang Shifan, he began to consciously approach Sun Jiwei. Although the two people had some friction before, Wang Jitao himself was a member of the underworld. His communication skills weren't ordinary. With a few compliments he flattered Sun Jiwei. This was why recently Wang Jitao could enter and leave Yang Ming's class at any time without being stopped by Sun Jiwei. Under the deliberate management of Wang Jitao, the two people quickly became good friends. Sun Jiwei, a rich child, naturally liked to make friends with a second generation like Wang Jitao. The two people had similar tastes and interests. After drinking a few times, they became good friends who talked about everything. After 30 minutes of drinking, Wang Jitao pretended to be drunk and began to complain. Brother Sun, don't you think that I am sullen? What's wrong? Brother Wang? Sun Jiwei narrowed his eyes. In the land of Songjiang, your Wang family is more ruthless than our Sun family. Who dares to provoke younger brother Wang? Humph, isn't it Yang Ming, that kid? He goes against me everywhere. Wang Jitao said coldly. That's not right. Brother Wang, isn't your relationship with Yang Ming very good? Aren't you two high school classmates? Sun Jiwei was stunned. He remembered that Wang Jitao seemed to have stood up for Yang Ming. Good. What's good about it? That's just on the surface. In fact, we have reached the point where we can't tolerate each other. Wang Jitao said coldly, Motherfucker, I'm really a coward. I'm actually bullied by Yang Ming. Brother Wang, what do you mean? Sun Jiwei slapped the table heroically and said, You tell your brother and see if there is anything I can help with. AI, it's useless to talk about it. Wang Jitao shook his head with a bitter smile. Yang Ming is very popular in Songjiang's underworld. I have troubled him a few times before. Guess what the result was? What's wrong? Could it be that he can fight? Sun Jiwei said disdainfully. I don't know if he can fight, but the gangsters that I found saw that the person they were going to teach was Yang Ming. They were so scared that they ran away without saying anything. Wang Jitao said exaggeratedly, Yang Ming, he mingled in the underworld when he was in junior high school. He has a lot of connections. Underworld? Sun Jiwei sneered disdainfully. When it comes to playing underworld, then he can't do it. He's just a little gangster. He's not good enough. Oh. Wang Jitao pretended to be stunned and then he slapped his thigh. Oh right. How can I forget? Brother Sun, your family is from the underworld. When it comes to playing underworld, who can play with your Sun family? Hee, you can't say that. Our Sun family is only badass in Donghai. Sun Jiwei couldn't help but say proudly. The underworld is not divided by territory. Whoever is ruthless is the badass. Wang Jitao said casually. That's true. Sun Jiwei nodded stupidly. I hold your breath. You said that Yang Ming has a girlfriend and he is so close to Zhou Jiejia. Wang Jitao sighed. Why am I so unlucky? It's not easy to like a girl, but Yang Ming still interferes. Damn. Brother Wang, it turns out that you like Zhou Jia. Sun Jiwei suddenly said. Sun Jiwei didn't care much about the relationship between men and women. He was a little lacking in this aspect. To put it bluntly, Sun Jiwei was like a child who hadn't grown up. Yeah, didn't you see it? Wang Jitao also smiled bitterly. This Sun Jiwei's EQ is too low. Damn, I think that Yang Ming is also very annoying. He goes against me everywhere and challenges my authority. I can't wait to beat him up. Sun Jiwei said angrily. Yes, during high school when I was the class monitor, Yang Ming also went against me everywhere. Damn, my lungs were about to explode. Wang Jitao echoed. Therefore the two people had a common topic. They criticized Yang Ming's various crimes together. He didn't respect the class committee, he was self-righteous, and he didn't obey. In the end, Sun Jiwei slammed the table. Brother Wang, you can rest assured. Leave this to me. I will teach him a lesson. Brother Sun, you have to be careful. Yang Ming is a punk. Wang Jitao pretended to remind him out of kindness, but in fact he was provoking him. Damn, do you think I'm afraid of him? No matter how badass he is in Songjiang, it's useless. I will transfer a few paratroopers from Donghai. They can't beat him to death. Sun Jiwei said disdainfully. I want to see what tricks he has this time. Brother Sun, you are really talented. You can come up with such a badass idea. You are really a dragon among men. You will be a ruthless person in the future. Wang Jitao complimented. Ah, you are too kind. Sun Jiwei nodded and smiled very happily. Therefore Sun Jiwei transferred a few men from his family in Donghai. Of course, they definitely didn't get the consent of his uncle. They were just found in private. But since the young master of the Sun family spoke, the people in front of him would give him face, so they sent 2 thugs to Songjiang. They were the 2 punks who had a conflict with Yang Ming yesterday. It was a pity that they didn't even see Yang Ming's appearance clearly, and they were beaten to the ground. However, this matter made Sun Jiwei very annoyed. You came to Songjiang to help me do things. You actually didn't do anything, but you ran out to fight with people? These 2 people didn't dare to tell the truth of the matter. Otherwise, it would be too embarrassing in front of the young master. So they made up a reason. They said that they were provoked by a group of Songjiang's punks, so they were angry. Because there were too many people on the other side, they were injured. We are also fighting for the face of Donghai's underworld. We can't be looked down upon by Songjiang's punks. Little Gangster B said, we didn't want to bother with them at first, but they were insatiable. They said that our Donghai's punks were good for nothings. We thought, Donghai's underworld represents young Master Sun's family. So we were angry and fought with them. Damn good fight. Both of you are honorable even though you lost. Sun Jiwei listened to their explanation and his anger was reduced. After all, they fought for the face of Donghai's family, so he forgave them. Well, since this is the case, I will treat you to a big meal at a restaurant in the evening as a welcome dinner for you. Let's forget about yesterday's matter. Thank you, young Master Sun. The 2 people breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Since you are working for me, I naturally won't treat you badly. Sun Jiwei said, don't worry. I will remember you after this. There will be good things for both of you in the future. Thank you very much. The 2 people said excitedly at the same time. Wang Jitao was very proud. He successfully transferred the conflict to Sun Jiwei. According to his father, Sun Jiwei's family background was much more powerful than his own family. In this case, let him fight with Yang Ming and he would reap the benefits. Isn't there a good saying? The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. Wang Jitao felt that he was the oriole. In the novel, he was the big black hand behind the scenes, the most ruthless and most powerful existence. Thinking of this, Wang Jitao couldn't help but be proud. Ah, Wang Jitao, you are really a knife that kills without spilling blood. Chapter 453. Wang Jitao was now used to communicating with his father. Wang Shifan, seeing that his son was so sensible, was very pleased. He began to slowly teach his son about the group. Dad, I have successfully transferred Yang Ming's conflict to Sun Jiwei according to your instructions. Now I will watch the 2 of them fight. Wang Jitao said as if he wanted to take credit. And well done. Sun Jiwei didn't suspect anything, right? Wang Shifan nodded and asked. That kid is just like an idiot. It's fine. Wang Jitao smiled and said, he also has a conflict with Yang Ming. Even if I didn't do this, he would definitely fight with Yang Ming. It's good. Just don't get into trouble. Wang Shifan nodded. You also know that the Sun family is not so easy to provoke. Hee Dad, you can rest assured. The young master of the Sun family is like a fool. My relationship with him is very close now. He won't suspect anything. Wang Jitao smiled. I didn't see it. You have some ability. You can understand the young master of the Sun family so well. Wang Shifan smiled and said, not bad. I am very optimistic about your communication skills. I am very relieved to hand over the business to you in the future. Wang Jitao smiled very happily. Getting his father's affirmation meant that he could master the company's affairs as soon as possible. His pocket would also become rich. Although Wang Shifan had now begun to deliberately cultivate Wang Jitao, he still didn't want to tell him about the family's smuggling business because it wasn't the time. This kind of thing had to be done slowly. At 12:30, Yang Ming's mobile phone alarm rang. Yang Ming stretched, turned off the mobile phone alarm and then turned on the mobile phone. He got up and washed his face. His head was still dizzy. It was estimated that there were some ingredients in the hangover medicine that made people excited. Yang Ming didn't fall asleep immediately after going to bed. He tossed and turned for a long time before he fell asleep. Big Ming, do you remember what I said yesterday? Yang Ming just came out of the bathroom and suddenly bumped into Yang Dahai. Dad, are you talking about Sun Jie? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Remember. You can rest assured. And I will tell you. I will call your elder sister to verify it. Yang Dahai said. Okay. Yang Ming said helplessly. Dad's thoughts were more conservative and. At 12:50, okay, I'll go down right away. After Yang Ming finished, he picked up the gift he bought for Sun Jie in Hong Kong and went downstairs. Today Yang Li actually drove Sun Jie's Audi R8. Yang Ming was a little surprised. Isn't this car Sun Jie's? How did it come to your place? Recently I have been driving her car. When she returned to Donghai, she took the car at home. He threw this car to me. Yang Li said proudly, the performance of this car is good. Nonsense. Don't you know how much it costs? Yang Ming rolled his eyes and got in the car. Yang Li closed the door and started the car. Come with me to Sun Jie's company to pick her up. She's back, asked Yang Ming. And she said that she would arrive at the company at 1:30. We should be almost there when we get there. Yang Li said. Yang Ming nodded and didn't say anything. He was now a little worried about Yang Li's driving skills. However, Yang Li's skills were obviously good. The Audi R8 was controlled very well in her hands. When they were about to arrive at Sun Jie's company, Yang Ming's phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was actually Sun Jie calling. Yang Ming didn't think much about it. He picked up the phone and said, hello, we will be there soon. Wait. What? Sun Jie was somewhat inexplicable. Did you make a mistake? I am Sun Jie. And? Yang Ming was also somewhat inexplicable. Yeah, you are Sun Jie. Yeah, then why did you say that we will be there soon? Sun Jie said curiously, I am back in Songjiang. Aren't you looking for me for something? When are you looking for me? In a while. Yang Ming said, I will be there soon. Well, it seems that you can't do it today. Today Yang Li said that she would welcome me. How about another day? Sun Jie said. Sweat. Yang Li and I are on the way to your company. Yang Ming sweated. Do you want me to jump out of the car and go home now? What? You came with Yang Li? Sun Jie was surprised. So, you already knew that I would come back today? Yeah, do you still want to give me a surprise and make me excited? Yang Ming joked. And I do have this plan, but since you are here, then come. I have already arrived at the company. You and Yang Li can go directly to the office to find me. I won't call her alone. Help me tell her. Sun Jie said. Okay, I got it. After hanging up the phone, Yang Ming looked at Yang Li strangely. You didn't tell Sun Jie about me coming? Was it Sun Jie who called you just now? Yang Li didn't answer Yang Ming's question but asked suspiciously. Yeah, Sun Jie said that she has arrived at the company so she won't call you. She asked me to tell you that we will go directly to her office to find her. Yang Li said. There's a problem. Sure enough, there is a problem. Yang Li suddenly sighed. Yang Ming, you and Sun Jie didn't make the act real, right? What do you mean by making the act real? Yang Ming was stunned. His heart was faintly nervous. Yang Li's eyesight can't be so sharp, right? How can she see through everything? With Sun Jie. Yang Li said, I think the relationship between you two isn't as simple as an ordinary friend. Of course it's not an ordinary friend. It's a good friend. Yang Ming pretended to be stupid. I didn't talk to you about this. I am now going to Sun Jie's company to pick her up. You said that after she arrived at the company, the person who called the phone wasn't me but you. Doesn't this explain anything? Yang Li said with a snort. Yang Ming listened to Yang Li's analysis and was a little stunned. He didn't think about this before, but now his heart was slightly moved. It seems that Sun Jie still takes my matter seriously. However, Yang Li's analysis. Only Yang Ming's heart was clear. Although something happened between him and Sun Jie's current attitude was just that of a good friend. The two of them didn't have similar contact. What's wrong? Not talking? Did I get it right? Yang Li's mouth slightly tilted. Come on, don't think so much. It's just that my matter is more urgent. Yang Ming shook his head and explained, and I have a girlfriend. Don't you know? Men are fickle. Don't think that I don't know. My boyfriend sometimes steals behind my back. Yang Li snorted. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Don't guess blindly. If you don't believe me, you can ask Sun Jie later. I have the same idea. Yang Li nodded. Yang Ming wasn't afraid that she would ask. Yang Ming believed that with Sun Jie's character she wouldn't say anything. Moreover, some things really couldn't be said. Yang Li observed Yang Ming for a long time. When the signal turned green, she turned her head to drive. It seems that there is no flaw. Am I wrong? You were wrong. Yang Ming said, how long have I known Sun Jie? Besides, would Sun Jie like me? This is also true. Yang Li listened to Yang Ming's words and immediately nodded. Sun Jie's background is much better than yours. Are you belittling your own family? Yang Ming listened and said unhappily. Although Yang Li was grateful to Yang Ming in her heart, she still couldn't help but bicker with him. However, Yang Ming didn't mind. The relationship between siblings should be like this. At least Yang Li had changed her previous arrogance. Because they were driving Sun Jie's car, they went directly into the underground parking lot under Sun Jie's company. The security guards there knew the car and didn't stop them. Yang Li went to the elevator with Yang Li and came to the floor where Sun Jie's company was located. Yang Li was familiar with this place. Because of Yang Li's previous misunderstanding, Yang Ming pretended that he wasn't very familiar with this place and followed behind Yang Li. Otherwise, Yang Li would think that she had been here many times. Entering Sun Jie's office and seeing Sun Jie in plain clothes, Yang Ming couldn't help but brighten up. Sun Jie was originally dressed in a mature and sexy outfit. Today she was wearing a cute outfit. She wore a beige cotton-padded jacket with golden buttons, dark brown woolen pants, and a pair of cute cotton-padded shoes. It was exactly the outfit of a young girl. Chapter 454. Sun Jie, you look very special today. Even Yang Li was surprised. She wondered if Sun Jie had changed her personality. Don't mention it. My dad thinks that I'm old and urged me to get married quickly. I can only dress up younger. Sun Jie smiled bitterly. Aren't you going to school? What marriage? Yang Li asked, baffled. Graduate students can get married. Sun Jie shook her head. Let's not talk about this. Right, Yang Li, why didn't you tell me that you brought Yang Ming here? I wanted to give you a surprise. Yang Li pretended to say casually, but her eyes were staring at Sun Jie. He wanted to see if she had any special reaction. However, Sun Jie smiled naturally and said, what surprise can I have? Didn't this kid ask me to do something for him? He really asked you to do something. Yang Li listened to Sun Jie and dispelled her doubts. Maybe Yang Ming really didn't have anything to do with her. Yang Li didn't know that Sun Jie's heart was slightly surprised. Did Yang Li see something? However, Sun Jie's ability to adapt wasn't comparable to ordinary people. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that she was a little fox. Didn't you ask me to do something? Give me the gift. Sun Jie didn't avoid anything. The more she avoided it, the more Yang Li would think that there was a problem. It was better to be generous. How can you be like this? You ask for a gift when you meet. Yang Ming was a little dumbfounded as he handed over the gift prepared for Sun Jie. I will accept it first. Thank you. Sun Jie took Yang Ming's gift with both hands and put it on the desk. Don't you want to open it? Asked Yang Ming. You must have brought a gift for Yang Li, right? If mine is better than hers, she will be jealous, so I will peek when no one is around. Sun Jie smiled. Yang Ming was speechless. This Sun Jie is actually like a child. Could it be that I have met a ruthless person with multiple personalities? Sister Sun Jie, open it and let me see. Yang Li couldn't hold back her curiosity, especially when Sun Jie said so. He was even more curious. No, you should be jealous of me. Sun Jie shook her head. Just look. It's not like I'm going to steal it from you. Yang Li suddenly had an idea and said, I know. You must be afraid that it won't be as good as my gift, so you don't dare to open it. Hee hee, you're trying to goad me. Sun Jie smiled. But since you want to open it so strongly, then I will satisfy your curiosity. Yang Ming, you won't disappoint me, right? Yang Ming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He really couldn't understand what this girl was thinking. That noble and shrewd Sun Jie also had a naughty side. The gift was opened. It was a set of jewelry. This was specially bought by Yang Ming for Sun Jie. He put in a lot of effort, unlike Yang Li's handbag, which was bought casually in the mall. Wow, so pretty. Yang Li exclaimed. Women had a natural fondness for jewelry. Yang Li was no exception. I say, Yang Ming, are you trying to fool our Sun Jie with a counterfeit? Sun Jie, on the other hand, could see at a glance that these jewelry were genuine and expensive. Moreover, it was very similar to her style. It seemed that Yang Ming had spent a lot of effort to prepare. The brooch inside was very similar to the brooch that she wore when she first met Yang Ming. Yang Ming could actually remember such a small detail and choose a gift according to this. She was very touched. Moreover, the rose brooch was only worn once, but Yang Ming actually remembered it very clearly. This showed that Yang Ming didn't simply treat her as a one-night stand object at that time. Is the bag that I gave you a fake? Yang Ming tilted his head and looked at Yang Li as he asked. Right, Sister Sun Jie, can you help me see if this bag is real or fake? Is it a counterfeit from the street stalls? After being reminded by Yang Ming, Yang Li remembered that she brought the bag that Yang Ming gave her today just to let Sun Jie distinguish whether it was real or fake. Oh, what bag? Sun Jie took the handbag that Yang Li handed to her. This was an LV handbag. Sun Jie looked at it. Yang Ming discovered that the handbag that Yang Li brought today was actually given to her by him. Maybe it was because he didn't care much, so Yang Ming didn't pay attention to it at all. It's real. It must be genuine. Sun Jie returned the handbag to Yang Li. This is a limited edition. We don't have it here. It seems that Yang Ming is really your younger brother. The thing that he gave me is a popular model. It's not as good as yours. Really? Who asked me to be his elder sister? Yang Li immediately said after listening, Yang Ming, thank you. You're welcome. Yang Ming was a little depressed. This Sun Jie, what is wrong with her? Her words are really sad. Yang Li's limited edition bag was bought casually. Let's go. Let's go eat. I'm a little hungry. Sun Jie put the things that Yang Ming gave her into the handbag and said, what do you want to eat? Today we are welcoming you. Yang Ming is treating. Yang Li said very generously. Yang Ming looked at Yang Li in amazement. Younger brother, you seem to be very rich. You have an LV bag and jewelry. I remember that the salary of second uncle and second aunt isn't much. Yang Li smiled. Forget it. I'm afraid of you. I'll treat then. Just don't go out and talk nonsense. Yang Ming was really afraid that she would talk nonsense to his parents. Since you've taken advantage of me, I'll see how you perform. Yang Li smiled. Go. What do you want to eat? My treat. Yang Ming shrugged, but he wasn't unhappy. He still liked the current Yang Li. This was like a family. Although Yang Li left a bad impression on him before, relatives were relatives after all. This was decided at birth and couldn't be changed. Therefore, if he could repair the relationship between them, Yang Ming was still very happy. He believed that his parents would be willing to see him and Yang Li like this now. I heard my brother say that Songjiang has a good restaurant called Lin's Boiled Fish. Why don't we try it? Sun Jie suggested. I'll listen to you today. Yang Ming hadn't said anything yet, but Yang Li said it first. The three people went downstairs together and came to the parking lot downstairs. Yang Li looked at the Audi R8 key in her hand and said with some reluctance, let me drive for a while on the way to eat? Sun Jie nodded funnily. Then I'll drive the company's car. Okay, Yang Ming, whose car are you going to take? Yang Li asked. I'll take Sun Jie's car. I have something to talk to her about. Yang Ming said. Well, then I won't bother you. I'll see you at the entrance of Lin's boiled fish. Yang Li said. You know how to get there? Sun Jie asked. Of course I know. It's on the way to the college. It's new and very popular. Yang Li said. That's fine. I guess we can't catch up with your car. Sun Jie smiled. Yang Li took the first step. Yang Ming and Sun Jie got on a BMW X5, which was used by Sun Jie's company to show off. Thank you. Sun Jie started the car and said to Yang Ming, I like the gift. Really? Yang Ming was stunned. I just listened to your tone. I thought you didn't like it. Hee why? Are you depressed? Sun Jie smiled. Isn't it? I just took Yang Li's bag from the mall. I spent a lot of effort on your set of jewelry. Yang Ming didn't know why, but his left hand couldn't help but touch Sun Jie's thigh. Take it away. Sun Jie snorted. Don't do this in the future. I said that it was an accident. Now Yang Li saw something. Now she can't see it. Yang Ming smiled, but his hand didn't mean to take it away. I'm driving. If you don't want to die, just leave it there. Sun Jie said helplessly. I believe in your driving skills. Yang Ming smiled. Did you miss me? Why would I miss you? Sun Jie asked. Yang Ming, your current approach makes me feel disgusted. I said that it was an accident. Do you want to have a second time? What first time and second time? What are you talking about? Yang Ming said knowingly, I think it's good for both of us now. Yang Ming saw that Sun Jie didn't really hate him in her words. Otherwise, with Sun Jie's character, she wouldn't let him take advantage of her. In other words, Sun Jie was now immune to him. Sun Jie was speechless. She freed a hand from the steering wheel and slapped Yang Ming's hand. Pop. Sun Jie slapped her thigh and she grimaced in pain. Yang Ming's eyesight wasn't good. When he saw that Sun Jie wanted to slap him, he quickly pulled back his hand. So Sun Jie slapped herself. Yang Ming. Sun Jie shouted angrily. Chapter 455. What's wrong? Yang Ming looked at Sun Jie innocently. What do you think? Who asked you to take it off? Sun Jie glared and looked at Yang Ming angrily. Put it back. Yang Ming was stunned. Put it back. Looking at Sun Jie's thigh, Yang Ming put his hand back with a bitter smile. Don't take it away. Sun Jie said immediately. Then I will keep it like this. Yang Ming thought, this is what you said. Don't say that I took advantage of you. Pak. Sun Jie slapped the back of Yang Ming's hand, and then she couldn't help but frown. Why is it so hard? Iron hand. It hurts so much. Yang Ming was speechless. It turned out that Sun Jie was doing this for this. The effective force is relative, but it is often the vulnerable side that suffers more pain. My hand is used to hit a big tree, so naturally I don't feel any pain. But Sun Jie had delicate skin and tender flesh, so it was different. Why don't you feel pain? Sun Jie looked at Yang Ming's expressionless face and couldn't help but ask. Pain? It hurts so much. Yang Ming frowned and pretended to be in pain. Sun Jie naturally knew that Yang Ming was pretending. She couldn't help but scold. Okay, stop fooling around. Quickly take it away. You asked me to put it on top and not take it away? Yang Ming pretended not to understand. Why weren't you so obedient when I asked you to take it away? Sun Jie asked. Hee. Yang Ming actually touched it enough. If he touched it again, he should have a physiological reaction. If he couldn't solve it, it would be even more uncomfortable. Isn't that playing with fire? Yang Ming took his hand away and laughed twice. Didn't you look for me for something? Can you say it now? Sun Jie rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. Then she put away the playful charm and replaced it with a serious expression. Yang Ming saw Sun Jie change her expression immediately. He was suddenly not used to it. She was faster than a face-changing master. He hesitated for a while and said, I want you to help me inquire about someone in Donghai. Inquire about who? Asked Sun Jie. My junior high school class teacher. He seems to be doing business in Donghai. Yang Ming said. Inquire about your junior high school class teacher? Sun Jie was a bit baffled. Why are you inquiring about him? Was he very good to you? Are you kidding me? I just found out about some things not long ago. Something that I absolutely can't forgive him for. Yang Ming said with a sneer, I won't feel comfortable if I don't let him suffer some pain. What are you so worried about? Asked Sun Jie. Yang Ming sighed and hesitated for a long time before saying, my first love, Yang Ming told Sun Jie about himself and Suya. Yang Ming didn't intend to hide anything. Now he was asking Sun Jie to help him find someone. If he didn't tell the truth, Sun Jie would definitely hold a grudge against him. It turned out to be like this. Sun Jie felt a little emotional after listening. A very pure and ambiguous first love. It was countless times better than my failed relationship. Sun Jie couldn't help but be a little envious. I want to find him and ask where the letter that Suya wrote to me is. Yang Ming shook his head. Although I know that the probability of him keeping it is almost non-existent, I still don't want to give up. I must personally confirm it. I didn't see that you are quite infatuated. Sun Jie adjusted the atmosphere and changed the topic. You haven't had a girlfriend in these years? Sweat. Yang Ming was a little embarrassed. Whether I have a girlfriend or not doesn't seem to have anything to do with this, right? You're such a playboy. Sun Jie glared at Yang Ming. I asked this question because I remembered your performance in the bathroom. It's impossible that you haven't had a girlfriend before. It was the first time for me and you. Yang Ming smiled. It was also for you and me. Sun Jie was telling the truth. She didn't lie to Yang Ming, but Sun Jie also heard the meaning in Yang Ming's words. He said that it was the first time for you and me. Isn't this nonsense? Do you want to have a second or third time? Same here. Yang Ming naturally didn't believe that it was Sun Jie's first time, so he also thought that Sun Jie's meaning was the same as his, specifically referring to himself and her. I can help you inquire about this person, but you have to provide me with a photo of him. Even if there is no photo, you have to give me his physical characteristics. Otherwise, where can I find the person for you? Sun Jie said. I have the photo here. Yang Ming took out the photo he prepared in advance and handed it to Sun Jie. It's easy to do with the photo, but the premise is that this person is really in Donghai. I will ask others to try their best to find him for you, but if they can't find him, don't blame me. Sun Jie nodded and put the photo in her bag. How can it be? If you can't find him, then forget it. I will think of other ways. Yang Ming said. Okay, I will contact you if there is news. Sun Jie said. Thank you. Yang Ming said sincerely. Forget it. Thank me when you find the person. Sun Jie smiled. Sun Jie's car had electronic navigation, so they soon came to the door of Lin's Boiled Fish on the college road. Although it was a newly opened shop, it had obviously been recorded on the electronic map. It showed the popularity of this shop. Yang Ming saw that the Audi R8 driven by Yang Li had been parked in the parking lot in front of the door. Sun Jie also parked the car in an empty space. Then she took out her mobile phone and called Yang Li. Where are you? We are here to. Sun Jie said. I am on the second floor, room 208. You can come up. Yang Li said. It was incredible that Yang Li could book a private room in such a popular restaurant without a reservation. Looking at the diners in the hall, Yang Ming couldn't help but think strangely. In fact, when Yang Li asked about the standard room, the waiter told Yang Li that there was no room. However, Yang Li asked for their lobby manager. After the lobby manager came, Yang Li directly said that her uncle was Bao Sanli. When the lobby manager heard it, he quickly found someone to arrange a private room. This method was tried and tested by Yang Li. She had successfully used it many times. When they came to the private room upstairs, Yang Li was looking at the menu. When she saw Yang Ming and the others come in, she handed the menu to Sun Jie. Today I am treating you to a meal. You can order. This is my first time here. What are the specialties? Sun Jie said to the waiter. The waiter nodded and reported a few signature dishes of the restaurant. Then he asked, Do you want a drink? We don't drink. We drove here. Sun Jie waved her hand. Give me some juice. Freshly squeezed orange juice, pineapple juice, peach juice and bottled huiyuan. Which one do you want? Asked the waiter. Orange juice. Sun Jie said, What about you, Yang Li? I want peach juice. Yang Li said, What about this gentleman? The waiter asked Yang Ming. Tea, said Yang Ming. Ha. Yang Li couldn't help but laugh. Are you not willing to spend money? Damn, what's wrong with your eyes? Didn't you see on the menu that the chrysanthemum tea with rock sugar is 12 yuan per cup? Yang Ming also knew that Yang Li was joking, so he didn't get angry. Because there was no trace of ridicule in Yang Li's tone. It was just a kind of joking feeling. Yang Ming could also see it from her eyes. Feeling the change in Yang Li, Yang Ming felt incredible. In just one day she could actually change a person's character. Even the waiter couldn't help but laugh. He wrote down what they wanted and then left the private room. Yang Ming, why are you drinking tea? Eating boiled fish and drinking tea is not the right thing to do. Sun Jia was also a little puzzled. I drank too much last night and didn't sleep well. I drank some tea to refresh myself. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Song Jiang has the best boiled fish. Today I will bring you two to taste it. Sun Jiwei said to the two men from Donghai. Thank you, young master Sun. The two men said quickly. My car can't seat so many people. Let's walk. Sun Jiwei's Porsche was a two-seater. It's on the college road in front. It's newly opened. It's called Lin's Boiled Fish. You two will have a good meal. Yes, following young master Sun, of course we will eat and drink well. The two men said respectfully. So Sun Jiwei took the two men and set off to Lin's Boiled Fish. Chapter 456. Give us a private room. As soon as they entered the door, Sun Jiwei's underling said to the waiter of Lin's Boiled Fish. Sorry sir, there are no private rooms now. Is there a booth upstairs, okay? The waiter said apologetically. No. If there isn't one, why don't you go and find one? Do you know who I am? Underling B was immediately unwilling, but when he finished this he remembered that Sun Jiwei was still around, so he quickly changed his words. Don't you see our young master here? Hurry up and find a private room. Sir, there's really no private room. The waiter didn't know who Sun Jiwei was, so he said with some embarrassment. Damn, do you not want to open this restaurant anymore? Underling A saw that the waiter didn't give him face and he was very unhappy. We are from the Sun family. Do you know that? Sun family? What Sun family? In Donghai, when the Sun family or the Tian family were mentioned, basically all the entertainment venues would give face. But this was Songjiang. No one knew what the Sun family was, let alone giving face. Damn, are you looking for death? Underling B glared at the waitress and grabbed her collar. What's wrong? The lobby manager saw that there was a conflict here, so he quickly came over and asked, what happened? Manager, they want a private room. I said no and they want to beat me up. The waitress said with grievance. You guys, we really don't have a private room here. The lobby manager said, how about you go to the booth on the second floor? I can give you a 10% discount. Damn, do I look like I'm short of money? Underling A yelled, hurry up and don't waste time. Our young master is giving you face by coming here to eat today. If you say these useless things to me again, do you believe that I will tear down your restaurant? The lobby manager could only smile bitterly. Why are all the people I encounter today asking for a private room? Just now it was someone who knew Bao Sanli. Although these people didn't mention him, they didn't look like good people at first glance. After all, there were a lot of customers in the restaurant right now, and it wouldn't be good if this matter affected the other customers' meal. Thus he said helplessly, well, since you guys have said so, I can't be too disrespectful. Our restaurant's internal reserved room will be yours. Upstairs, room 209, Xiaogao, go and lead the way for them. The lobby manager said to the waiter, who nodded his head. Not bad. You know what to do. Underling B nodded and said to Sun Jiwei, young master Sun, please. Sun Jiwei nodded with satisfaction. He was very satisfied with what his subordinate had done just now. He felt very proud. After going upstairs to private room 209, Sun Jiwei picked up the menu and began to order. Naturally, he wouldn't ask the two underlings what they wanted to eat. As for the two underlings, it was already a great honor to accompany young master Sun to eat. How could they care about these things? When Sun Jiwei finished ordering, he returned the menu to the waiter. Okay, that's it. 3 servings of each. Sun Jiwei didn't care about the feelings of the two underlings. Anyway, he directly ordered 3 servings of whatever he wanted to eat. The two underlings felt very honored. Sun Jiwei didn't treat them as outsiders. They ate the same food. It seemed that if they did a good job for the young master, they would definitely have a meteoric rise in the future. Private room 208. Soon the boiled fish was served. After eating for a while, Yang Ming got up and went to the bathroom. In such a big restaurant, the bathroom wasn't very big. There were no men's urinals here. They were all independent partitioned toilets. Yang Ming waited for a long time before he got his number. When he just untied his pants, he heard someone knocking on the door outside. The person inside, can't you hurry up? Why are you so slow? What are you knocking on? I just came in. Yang Ming was scared. His hands trembled and he almost peed on his pants. He replied with some displeasure. Hurry up. I'm going to suffocate, Sun Jiwei said in a hurry. When he went out he drank a bottle of drink and didn't go to the bathroom. Not long after he ordered he had an urge to pee. Sun Jiwei quickly ran to the bathroom, but he didn't expect that there were people everywhere. So Sun Jiwei quickly began to call the door. Otherwise he would pee in his pants pocket. Yang Ming impatiently looked at the person outside with his X-ray vision. He couldn't help but be stunned. It's actually the annoying guy Sun Jiwei? He also came here to eat. What a coincidence. Yang Ming fastened his pants and thought about teaching this guy a lesson. He almost scared himself. Yang Ming didn't want to let him go. Looking at Sun Jiwei standing by the door, Yang Ming quietly turned on the switch on the door. Then he slammed the door outward. Pa! The door slammed on Sun Jiwei's face. It directly smashed his nostrils, making him dizzy and disoriented. Hey! Isn't this the class monitor? Yang Ming pretended to be puzzled and said, Why are you here? Yang Ming. Sun Jiwei was so angry that his eyes were spitting fire. When he was hit by Yang Ming, Sun Jiwei couldn't control himself and peed in his pants. Didn't you want to go to the bathroom? Yang Ming pretended not to see and said, Then you go quickly. I'm leaving first. As Yang Ming said, he turned and left the bathroom. Sun Jiwei was so angry that he rushed to the bathroom door. He watched Yang Ming return to room 208. Sun Jiwei's veins were exposed and he said fiercely, Yang Ming, we are really enemies on a narrow road. Today I won't let you leave this restaurant door. Sun Jiwei peed on his pants so there was no need to go to the bathroom. Fortunately it was winter. Sun Jiwei shook off the pee stains on his pants. It couldn't be seen from the outside that he made a fool of himself. It was just that his pants were wet and it was very uncomfortable. Sun Jiwei returned to the private room with a frown. When the two underlings saw him like this, they were immediately shocked and quickly asked, Young Master Sun, what happened to you? Who made you unhappy? Motherfucker Yang Ming, I will kill you. Sun Jiwei said, Didn't I ask you to do something? Now is the time for you to perform. Go and help me beat a person. Beat him until he doesn't even recognize himself. The underlings were somewhat inexplicable. Why does young Master Sun want to beat someone after going to the bathroom? Just next door, room 208. Sun Jiwei said, Just follow me. Motherfucker, I will kill him. Yes, kill him. Young Master Sun, you can do whatever you want. The two underlings quickly showed their loyalty. With the two underlings by his side, Sun Jiwei wasn't afraid of Yang Ming. In fact, Sun Jiwei wanted to pick a fight when he was in the bathroom, but he was also afraid that he wasn't Yang Ming's opponent. He would be beaten for nothing, so he came back to ask for help. The three of them swaggered out of the private room and came to room 208 next door. Do we need to knock on the door? Asked the underling. Knock your head. Sun Jiwei glared. Kick the door open for me. Okay. Underling B heard it and kicked open the door of room 208 directly. Beat him for me. It's him. Sun Jiwei entered the private room and pointed at Yang Ming arrogantly. Yang Ming was eating fish there. He had a piece of fish bone in his mouth. Suddenly he heard a loud noise from the door of the room and then Sun Jiwei rushed in. Is he sick? Yang Ming was so angry that he rolled his eyes. He glared at Sun Jiwei and said, You stay away from me. You peed in your pants and still stand so close to me. I'm eating. Eat your big head. When Sun Jiwei heard Yang Ming exposed his shortcomings in public, his face turned purple with anger. He slashed his hand and the plates and bowls on the table were all over the floor. When Sun Jiwei rushed in, he only paid attention to Yang Ming. He didn't see Sun Jia and Yang Li at the side. But Yang Ming stood up and slapped Sun Jiwei directly. Do you want to die? You dare to hit me? Let me tell you. I'm a member of the Sun family in Donghai. Sun Jiwei didn't expect Yang Ming to actually hit him directly. He was so angry that he threatened, Do you believe that I can kill you? Why are you acting like a big shot in front of me? Yang Ming glared. This is Songjiang, not Donghai. If you continue to be cocky with me, I will kill you first. Yang Ming wasn't the same as before. He didn't care who you were. In Songjiang, Yang Ming had the final say. You were good in Donghai, but you were nothing here. You two, what are you looking at? Hurry up and beat him. Sun Jiwei saw that his two underlings were standing there in a daze. They didn't have any intention to come and help him. He was immediately anxious. Chapter 457. Sun Jiwei, are you done? A sharp voice was like a basin of cold water splashed on Sun Jiwei's head. Sun Jiwei was shocked. He was shocked and looked up. When he saw Sun Jie with an angry face, he was immediately scared. Sister, why are you here? When the two underlings entered the door, they saw Sun Jie. They were so scared that they didn't dare to do it again, but they didn't dare to speak to remind Sun Jiwei. They could only stand aside. Only Sun Jiwei, who was blind, didn't see his sister. Why am I here? Look at yourself. What do you look like? You rushed into someone else's private room and beat them up? Do you think you are a gangster? Sun Jie frowned and reprimanded. What the hell is going on? Sister, I just wanted to teach Yang Ming a lesson. It wasn't directed at you. Sun Jiwei explained. Yang Ming is my friend. If you are directed at him, you are directed at me. Sun Jie scolded with some resentment. What is the conflict between you and Yang Ming? Sun Jiwei was most afraid of Sun Jie and his uncle at home, so when he heard Sun Jie's reprimand at the moment, he didn't even dare to breathe. He lowered his head and didn't dare to look directly at Sun Jie. Speak. Why aren't you talking? Sun Jie said coldly, you are quite capable. You still claim to be a member of the Sun family. You are really making the Sun family lose face. Others think that our Sun family is a bunch of ruffians. I was wrong. Sun Jiwei whispered. Now you know that you are wrong? Sun Jie glared at Sun Jiwei. What were you doing earlier? Tell me clearly what's going on with you today. And you too, aren't you from Songjiang's side? Did you come from home? When the underlings heard Sun Jie's question at the moment, they didn't dare to hide. They quickly replied, Miss, we came from Donghai. The young master asked us to help, right? I remember you. Without waiting for Sun Jie to speak, Yang Ming suddenly pointed to the underlings. Do you know me? The underlings were stunned and looked at Yang Ming in confusion. They thought, how can we know you? If it weren't for little child Sun bringing us here to teach you a lesson, how can we know who you are? However, the eldest miss was right in front of him. Who knew what the relationship between this person and the eldest miss was? Thus he could only reply, we don't know each other. Think again. Yang Ming reminded him with a faint smile. Last night? Have you forgotten? Show off in front of me while I'm drunk. What? Was that person yesterday you? A and B were stunned at the same time. They carefully recalled the person who beat them up last night. Sure enough, he looked similar to Yang Ming. With your skills, you dare to follow me? Yang Ming laughed. If Sun Jie didn't know you, you too would have been lying in the hospital. I was so drunk that I couldn't tell north from south. Both of you weren't my opponent. Today you dared to come over when I was sober. I really admire your courage. No matter how stupid Sun Jiwei was, he knew what happened yesterday after listening to Yang Ming's words. Were these two people beaten up by Yang Ming? Moreover, it was Yang Ming who beat them up when he was drunk? Isn't this too bad? These two guys actually dared to lie to me. What fight with a group of people? It was obviously the two of them ganging up on one person and they were beaten up badly. However, now that Sun Jie was in front of him, Sun Jiwei couldn't talk about them anymore. He just had some resentment in his heart. However, Sun Jiwei was now a little scared. If Sun Jie wasn't here, would the one who got beaten up be me? Sun Jiwei was indeed impulsive and had some childish temper, but it didn't mean that he was a pure idiot. Yang Ming could beat up his two men when he wasn't sober yesterday, let alone when he was sober today. Okay, you don't get involved first. Sun Jie glared at Yang Ming. Let me do it. I'll give you face, but is this guy your brother? Yang Ming naturally heard the relationship between Sun Jie and Sun Jiwei from the conversation between the two. These two people were actually siblings. After all the trouble, Sun Jie and the seemingly badass Donghai Sun family were actually the same Sun family. He is the child of my second uncle's family. Sun Jie shook her head helplessly. He is the only boy in my family. He was spoiled since he was a child. Kid, I am giving face to your sister. I won't kill you. Yang Ming patted Sun Jiwei's shoulder to scare him. Okay, you think it's fun to scare a child, right? Sun Jie said to Yang Ming with dissatisfaction. Child? Yang Ming smiled bitterly. It seems that Sun Jie regards me as the same age as her. But this is also good. Then isn't Sun Jiwei a level lower in front of me? Sun Jiwei was also very depressed. What is the relationship between my sister and Yang Ming? But it seems that they are very familiar. My brain, why am I so unlucky? It seems that if I don't explain it clearly today, my sister won't give up. He had to stand there and say, "Sister, I just wanted to scare him." You scared him? Sun Jie was a little amused. Luckily I'm here today. Sun Jie was very clear about Yang Ming's temper. Last time Yun Guangdo sent her the video. Yang Ming beat up his driver violently. It left a deep impression on Sun Jie. This brother of mine is really courageous. He dares to provoke Yang Ming with such a bad temper? It would be strange if he didn't beat him up. Why are you scaring him? What happened between you and Yang Ming? You have to tell me the truth. I'm his class monitor. He didn't listen to the command. Sun Jiwei had to say, I felt embarrassed, so I wanted to teach him a lesson. That's it? Sun Jie stared at Sun Jiwei's eyes and asked, Are you sure you didn't lie to me? Sister. I was also doing it for my brother. Sun Jiwei was afraid of Sun Jie since he was a child. At this moment he didn't dare to hide anything. He had to tell the story of Wang Jitao. Doing it for your brother? Why do you want to do it for your brother? Sun Jie frowned. Is Wang Jitao my good buddy? Yang Ming stole his woman. I was angry, so I wanted to teach Yang Ming a lesson. Sun Jiwei explained. Sun Jie glanced at Yang Ming. Her eyes made Yang Ming feel creepy. It meant, you are quite flirtatious, right? Yang Ming was somewhat helpless. Wang Jitao was still jealous of Qin Mingyan. Isn't this guy a bit too narrow-minded? Yang Ming didn't know that Wang Jitao was targeting Zhou Jiejia this time. But this Wang Jitao is quite capable, right? I remember that he and Sun Jiwei didn't seem to get along very well. At the beginning of the semester they had a confrontation. How did they suddenly become good buddies? I have to say that this guy is really sinister. Fortunately, Yang Ming never intended to let him go. Who is Wang Jitao? Sun Jie scolded with some disappointment. What does other people's business have to do with you? Why didn't he look for Yang Ming? Why did he ask you to look for him? He said that he found someone to teach Yang Ming a lesson, but it didn't succeed. Moreover, their Songjiang's Wang family isn't as badass as our Donghai's Sun family. Sun Jiwei said shamelessly. Songjiang's Wang family? Sun Jie was stunned. Which Wang family? Is his father Wang Shifan? What Wang Shifan? I know that there is a Feng Shifan in the Deer in the Cauldron. He was beaten to the ground by Wei Xiaobao. Sun Jiwei shook his head and said, but I know that his company is called Wang Century Xiongfeng Group. Sure enough, it is this Wang family. Sun Jie said resentfully. Sunju brother, what do you want me to say about you? You are being used as a tool. What tool? Sun Jiwei didn't understand. Although Wang Shifan isn't as powerful as your uncle, he has been operating in Songjiang for so many years. His foundation is much more stable than our Sun family here. Sun Jie said, he asked you to do it. Obviously he is using you as a tool. Really? Can't be, right? Sun Jiwei asked. Wang Jitao and I have a good relationship. He is very respectful to me. It is impossible for him to harm me. Sun Jiwei, what do you want me to say about you? When can you learn to be smarter? Sun Jie shook her head and said, well, from today onwards, you will go back to the dormitory and reflect on your mistakes. Don't come out and cause trouble again. Sister. Sun Jiwei still wanted to explain, but he wasn't interrupted by Sun Jie. Don't say anything. Are you going to listen to your sister? Asked Sun Jie. Yes. Sun Jiwei nodded dejectedly, turned and walked out of the private room. You go back. Go back to Donghai directly. This time I will forget about it. Next time if you dare to mess around with Sun Jiwei, see how I will deal with you. Sun Jie glanced at the two underlings standing at the door and said coldly. Chapter 458. Yes, miss. The two people breathed a sigh of relief. As the miss of the Sun family, Sun Jie's means were much tougher than Sun Jiwei's. Moreover, over the years the old man of the Sun family had been forcing Sun Jie to find a partner, and Sun Jie didn't want to do so. She had to constantly improve her ability and turn herself into an image of a strong woman. She had the momentum to take over the Sun family's affairs. Therefore, if Sun Jie wanted to punish them, then the two of them would be miserable. The reason why Sun Jie didn't pursue their responsibility was entirely for Sun Jiwei's consideration. Even if Sun Jiwei was a useless person, he was still a member of the Sun family. Therefore, Sun Jie just attributed the behavior of the two people to fooling around with Sun Jiwei. She also warned them not to do this again in the future. Just now, when Sun Jiwei kicked open the door, the waiter on the second floor went to report to the lobby manager. However, the lobby manager saw that the two groups of people were very fierce, so he didn't dare to go up and stop the fight. One group of people knew Bao Sanli and the other group of people looked very badass. Until later he was stunned to find that the two groups of people were relatives. Sun Jiwei left in disgrace. The lobby manager saw it in his eyes and only dared to enter the room. He ordered the waiter to clean up the broken plates on the ground and serve the dishes again. After Sun Jiwei left, Yang Ming asked Sun Jie strangely, "Is that silly guy your brother? Can't you speak nicely?" Although Sun Jiwei is occasionally a little childish, he can't be considered a fool, right? Sun Jie said after listening, "Can you leave me some face? I'm telling the truth. You two, one is a fox spirit and the other is a fool." Yang Ming shook his head. "The gap is too big." He said it clearly. "Who is the fox spirit? Who is the fool?" Sun Jie was immediately unwilling after listening. "Aren't you saying that our family is a zoo? Then are you willing to be a fox spirit or a fool?" Yang Ming smiled. "I don't want to be either. Why are you so mean?" Sun Jie glared at Yang Ming. "How am I derogatory? I'm just saying that you're smart." Yang Ming said disapprovingly, "You must have misunderstood. Vixen doesn't mean what you think it means. What am I thinking? It's as if you can see through my thoughts." Sun Jie snorted. "Ha." Yang Ming laughed and thought to himself, "I really do have this ability, but I haven't studied it too much. Alright, both of you stop quarreling. Originally it was me and Yang Ming who quarreled as soon as we met. Now it's both of you." Yang Li thought that Yang Ming and Sun Jie were really going against each other, so she quickly mediated. She didn't know that there was something else going on between the two of them. "Forget it. A good man doesn't fight with a woman. See?" Before Yang Ming finished speaking, he opened his mouth in pain because his foot was stepped on forcefully. This was not the end of it. The foot that stepped on him kept rubbing on Yang Ming's foot. Yang Ming didn't have to think about it. He knew that it was Sun Jie who stepped on him. There were only 3 people here. It was impossible for Yang Li to do it. From Yang Li's current attitude, she seemed to be afraid of him, so she wouldn't step on him. Moreover, this action of stepping on his foot seemed to require a certain intimate relationship. However, to be on the safe side, Yang Ming still lowered his head and glanced with his special ability. Sure enough, it was Sun Jie who stepped on him. "That's a thick-soled cotton shoe. Does she want to step on me to death?" Yang Ming smiled slightly. His left hand that wasn't holding the chopsticks went directly under the table. He placed it between Sun Jie's legs and rubbed it back and forth. Although it was separated by a layer of pants, Yang Ming's bold move was enough to make Sun Jie frown. She quickly retracted the leg that was stepping on Yang Ming's foot and closed her legs tightly. Her face couldn't help but turn red. Yang Ming ignored her and still did his own thing. Sun Jie was anxious and quickly reached out to pull his hand. However, how could Sun Jie's strength be compared to Yang Ming? Therefore she could only be anxious. While Yang Li wasn't paying attention, she whispered to Yang Ming, "Take it away. This is too much. You're clamping me. How can I take it away?" Yang Ming said very ambiguously. Sun Jie couldn't be helped. She had to let go of her legs. Yang Ming took the opportunity to crack the oil twice before he pulled his hand away. Sun Jie was so angry that she gritted her teeth, but she didn't dare to step on Yang Ming again. She had to vent her anger on the boiled fish in front of her. She kept poking it with her chopsticks. This fish is really unlucky. Although Yang Li saw that Yang Ming and Sun Jie's expressions were very strange, she didn't know what happened to them. She thought that they were secretly competing, so she said, "Yang Ming, you're a guy. Can't you give in to Sun Jie?" "Okay, I have been giving in to her." Yang Ming smiled. Sun Jie had also returned to normal at this moment. She was also afraid that Yang Li would notice something. Although she was angry, she could only say calmly, "Yang Ming, Sun Jiwei was also bewitched by others. I hope you give me face and don't retaliate against him. And I also want to remind you, although we are good friends, if you touch Sun Jiwei, things are really a bit troublesome." Yang Ming also knew that Sun Jie said this for his own good, but this faint warning made Yang Ming very uncomfortable. Who was Yang Ming? Why would he be afraid of a warning? However, no matter what, he had to give face to Sun Jia. Not to mention anything else, just because of the unclear relationship between the two of them, Yang Ming really couldn't lay a heavy hand on Sun Jiwei. It seems that Sun Jiwei is also my cheap brother-in-law, right? I never care about children. Yang Ming smiled. Don't worry. When I heard him mention Wang Jitao, I knew what was going on. However, your brother really doesn't think before doing things. It's my family's matter. I will educate him. What do you think is going on? Sun Jia was a little unhappy. Scolding her brother in front of her, it was a bit unethical. What do you think I'm saying? Yang Ming looked at Sun Jia with a smile. That expression could easily make people's imagination run wild. What's going on with Wang Jitao? Is what Sun Jiwei said true? Sun Jia changed the topic. Although she also knew that she wouldn't have any intersection with Yang Ming, Sun Jia was also a normal woman. Sometimes she was indeed very rational, but sometimes she would be jealous. For example, just now when she heard about Yang Ming and other women, Sun Jia was still a little uncomfortable. Although she didn't admit it, the fact was the fact. However, Sun Jia didn't think that she liked Yang Ming. It was just a woman's special feelings for her first man. What's going on? You said that he said that I stole Wang Jitao's woman? Yang Ming was stunned and then said shamelessly, he's bullshitting. Why? Do you mean that there is no such thing? Sun Jia didn't know why, but she felt a little relieved in her heart. What Wang Jitao's woman? That's my girlfriend. Wang Jitao failed to pursue her, so he fucking thought of some dirty tricks to trick me. You don't know that some people are like that. They don't have the ability to pick up girls, but they push the blame to others. Yang Ming smiled and said, right, isn't that Gu Jianchao the last time? He didn't manage to get you and he kept showing off his badass face to me. Sun Jia listened to Yang Ming's words and was a little dumbfounded. How did it involve me again? Then you mean that you have no conflict with Sun Jiwei? Asked Sun Jia. I don't know if that's a conflict. Anyway, I haven't bothered to argue with him. It's just that he kept trying to exercise his power as the class monitor. Sun Jia, this is university. How can there be a class monitor like a primary school monitor? Yang Ming said sarcastically, why do I feel that Sun Jiwei is like a class monitor in primary school? Yang Ming's words really touched Sun Jia's heart. She was very clear about what her brother was like. Well, Yang Ming, just give me face. If Sun Jiwei finds trouble with you again, you tell me. Damn, so it seems like I'm living off a woman. Yang Ming heard it and felt awkward. Yang Ming, didn't you ask Sister Sun Jia for help? Is this the attitude of asking for help? Yang Li couldn't stand it and couldn't help but interrupt. How would she know that Yang Ming was taking the opportunity to flirt with Sun Jia? His words had a double meaning. Okay, I got it. I will avoid him when I see him, okay? Yang Ming sighed and said with some sadness, even if I can't provoke him, can't I avoid him? Your Sun family is badass. I didn't say that. Sun Jia smiled and said, doesn't Yang Li know you're Song Jiang's boss? Yang Li still didn't know the relationship between Yang Ming and Bao Sanli. Her uncle didn't tell her, so Sun Jia didn't know that Yang Ming knew Bao Sanli. Chapter 459. He is my dad's business friend. Yang Li was a little embarrassed. Her background couldn't be compared to Sun Jia. Although her family could be said to be doing well in Songjiang, the foundation of Sun Jia's family wasn't in Songjiang but in Donghai. Yang Li, my father asked me to contact Bao Sanli. Can you help me introduce him? Sun Jia hesitated and said. For Yang Ming, Sun Jia didn't want to deliberately hide anything. She and Yang Ming were very strange. They weren't on the same side, but they were definitely closer than ordinary friends. I don't seem to be able to do this. Or you can ask my dad. Yang Li said with some embarrassment, I actually don't know Bao Sanli. Why do you want to know Bao Sanli? Yang Ming, who had not spoken, suddenly interjected. Yang Ming, don't you know that Sister Sun Jia's family is also in the underworld? Yang Li asked curiously. Oh. Yang Ming really didn't know. Although he secretly controlled the underground forces of Songjiang, he didn't know much about the situation in Donghai. Even if he knew, he wouldn't connect with Sun Jia. Yang Ming controlled the underworld of Songjiang, but he didn't want to develop in this area. This was just a stepping stone to his success. Therefore, when Yang Ming heard that Sun Jia's family was also in the underworld, he couldn't help but be a little surprised. Really? So powerful? Don't listen to Yang Li's nonsense. It's just that my dad has some influence in Donghai. In the past few months, Song Jiang's underworld forces have suddenly emerged. Bao Somli quickly reached the scale. I heard that he also forced Donghai's Four Snakes gang to retreat. My father is very curious and wants to get to know Bao Somli. Sun Jie explained. Then I will talk to my dad. He should help you. Yang Li said. Why? Is your dad planning to swallow Song Jiang's underworld? Yang Ming pretended to ask casually. I don't know. I don't have much contact with this kind of affairs now. Sun Jie shook her head. It didn't seem like she was lying. Yang Ming was the behind-the-scenes boss of Song Jiang's underworld forces, so he had to be vigilant. He was going to go back and inform Ho Jinhan about the Sun family in Donghai. Yang Ming, why are you asking so many questions? Aren't you in school now? Do you want to go out and mingle? Yang Li interrupted Yang Ming's words. All right. Let's eat. Let's not talk about this. All right. Yang Ming also smiled. I'm just asking. The three of them then talked about some fashion topics. Yang Ming didn't understand a lot of it and couldn't get a word in. He could only express his opinion occasionally. However, Yang Ming's purpose of seeing Sun Jie had been achieved. If he was too close to Sun Jie, it was bound to arouse Yang Li's suspicion. During the meal, Sun Jie and Yang Li talked a lot. Both of them were very happy. Yang Ming was a guest. After paying the bill, Sun Jie went to Yang Li's house. Yang Ming didn't follow. He just winked at Sun Jie and whispered in her ear, next time I will ask you out alone. It depends on whether I'm in the mood. Sun Jie rolled her eyes at Yang Ming. Back at home, Yang Ming called Ho Jinhan and asked him about the Sun family in Donghai. Big Ho, do you know about the Sun family in Donghai? Brother Yang, are you asking about the Sun family? Is it Sun Hongjun? Asked Ho Jinhan. It should be. It is the most powerful Sun family in Donghai. Yang Ming naturally didn't know who Sun Hongjun was. That is Sun Hongjun. How should I say it? Sun Hongjun's position in Donghai is very special. Ho Jinhan thought about it and didn't know how to say it. Special? What do you mean? Is he also the leader of the underworld? Asked Yang Ming. You can say that, but in fact he isn't. Sun Hongjun's surface identity is an entrepreneur and a philanthropist. Ho Jinhan said, the real underworld boss in Donghai is the Tian family, but the relationship between the Tian family and the Sun family is a dependent relationship. What do you mean? The Sun family and the Tian family have a close relationship? The Sun family relies on the Tian family to do business? Asked Yang Ming. This made Yang Ming couldn't help but think of his uncle Yang Dashan. No, the Tian family relies on the Sun family. The Tian family works for the Sun family, said Ho Jinhan. What? Yang Ming was stunned. The Sun family is so powerful? The behind-the-scenes boss? You can say that. Sun Hongjun's position in Donghai is similar to Brother Yang's position in Songjiang. They are both behind-the-scenes characters. Ho Jinhan explained, it's just that in Donghai, everyone knows the relationship between the Sun family and the Tian family. In Songjiang, your identity is more confidential. Turns out to be like this. In other words, Sun Hongjun is a character who can cover the sky with one hand in Donghai? That's not right. What about the Four Snakes gang a while ago? Asked Yang Ming. Donghai is different from our Songjiang. Donghai is a provincial capital city. The underworld forces are very complicated. Not only is the Tian family a gang, but there are many small gangs that rely on the Tian family to survive. Of course, Sun Hongjun also has a high position in these gangs because Sun Hongjun is the one who can decide their fate. It can also be said that Sun Hongjun is the boss of Donghai. Ho Jinhan analyzed. I understand. Yang Ming nodded. Right, Sun Hongjun wants to contact us. He has asked his daughter to contact Bao Sanli through my elder sister Yang Li. Oh? What? Does Sun Hongjun have an ulterior motive for our Songjiang's underworld? Ho Jinhan frowned and asked. I don't know about this. You and Bao Sanli have to figure it out, said Yang Ming. I know, but after a month of reorganization our foundation in Songjiang has been stabilized. I'm not afraid of what Sun Hongjun can do to us. A strong dragon can't suppress a local snake. Ho Jinhan said bluntly. Your tone is not small now. Yang Ming smiled. In this position there is no other way. Ho Jinhan also smiled. Right, if Sun Hongjun has any ulterior motives, what should we do? Do we need to capture his daughter? No. Yang Ming heard that Ho Junhan wanted to capture Sun Jie, and he denied it without thinking. What's wrong? Ho Junhan wondered. Sun Jie can't be touched. Don't trouble her. Yang Ming hesitated. He was afraid that he didn't have enough strength, so he added, she is my person. What? Ho Junhan was as shocked as his name. Sun Hongjuan's daughter is the boss's woman? I'm going to faint. Isn't this too incredible? However, one of the good things about Ho Junhan was that he never asked much. He never inquired about things that he shouldn't know. Yang Ming was already a ruthless person in his mind, so now this sounded a bit outrageous, but it was not impossible. I got it, said Ho Junhan quickly. Don't tell anyone about this. Yang Ming reminded faintly. I understand. Ho Junhan nodded. Today was the last day of the New Year's Day holiday. Yang Ming recalled the events of the past few days. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. It was a hurried holiday, but there were so many things. In the evening, Yang Ming sat at home and surfed the internet. He first searched for his 360-degree wide-angle vision ability. In fact, it should be counted as a full-angle vision. There were some relevant introductions on the internet, but many of them were martial arts novels. There was a novel that called this ability infinite perception, which meant that he could perceive things around him without limit. It was said that a blind man had practiced this skill. The others were some nonsense such as Sky Eye, Ghost Eye. Anyway, there were all kinds of names. At first glance, it was a name that some bored people came up with. Someone even said that it was called Rolling Eyes, which made Yang Ming depressed. Of course, these were all funny things, but Yang Ming's ability actually appeared on his own body. Yang Ming experimented several times, and this ability was not difficult to achieve. Just by closing his eyes and wanting to see things, Yang Ming could clearly see everything around him. This feeling was very strange. It was like a third person's perspective. It was as if he did not exist in this space, but looked at everything in this space from another space. Yang Ming could even see that his eyes were tightly shut. In addition to the excitement, Yang Ming felt a little strange. Why could he quickly master and use some of his special abilities and use them skillfully, but he still couldn't figure out how to use some of them? Moreover, after this ability was discovered, Yang Ming was very sure that there must be some undiscovered abilities in this pair of glasses on his body. Chapter 460. Sun Jiwei was scolded by Sun Jie. He returned to the dormitory dejectedly. He didn't think that Wang Jitao would use him as a tool. Ever since he was young, Sun Jiwei didn't have many real friends. He had a lot of fair-weather friends and followers around him. People like Wang Jitao who had a similar background as him, and who could accommodate him at all times were too few. Moreover, Wang Jitao didn't force him to teach Yang Ming a lesson. He was completely willing to do so. Therefore, Sun Jiwei blamed all the mistakes of today's incident on Yang Ming. He thought that if it wasn't because of Yang Ming, his sister wouldn't scold him. Sun Jiwei was very depressed. His current pocket money was completely controlled by Sun Jie. If Sun Jie was angry about this incident, then he was about to usher in an economic crisis. So, Sun Jiwei called Wang Jitao. Brother Wang, I'm Sun Jiwei. Brother Sun, how was it? Did you have a good time on New Year's Day? Wang Jitao flattered. Happy. Sun Jiwei snorted. Happy my ass. I'm so depressed. What's the matter? Wang Jitao quickly asked. Is there anything else that can make Brother Sun worry? Hey, isn't it that Yang Ming? Motherfucker, I don't know how it happened. He actually knows my sister. Sun Jiwei smiled bitterly. Today I brought 2 people from Donghai to teach Yang Ming a lesson. As a result, I met Yang Ming and my sister together. Yang Ming didn't teach them a lesson. Instead, he was scolded by me. Wang Jitao frowned. Did your sister ask you anything? For example, what is the relationship between us? She asked, but I tried my best to protect you. I said that you are my buddy. Sun Jiwei said. Wang Jitao's heart skipped a beat after he heard it. He just asked tentatively, but he didn't expect Sun Jiwei's sister to know about him. So he quickly asked, how did she know about me? Of course I said it. I said that I wanted to teach you a lesson. Sun Jiwei said very righteously. But Wang Jitao slapped his thigh and cursed in his heart. If this were to spread to the Sun family's ears, wouldn't I be the culprit who bewitched their young master? Brother, how do you think I treat you? Wang Jitao suddenly asked. There is nothing to say. Sun Jiwei said, the relationship between the two of us is even stronger than blood brothers. That's right. Then tell me, would I harm you? Wang Jitao quickly said, I think your sister might have misunderstood. She must have thought that you were bewitched by me and stood up for me. How do you know? Yes, my sister thinks so. Sun Jiwei was a little surprised. But it's okay. I have made it clear to my sister. It was my own idea. How about this, brother Sun? Are you feeling depressed now? Wang Jitao felt that it was necessary to talk to Sun Jiwei face to face. Otherwise this matter might really involve him. That wouldn't be good. Yeah, my pocket money is usually in the hands of my sister. Now it's over. We won't have money to drink when we go out in the future. Sun Jiwei smiled bitterly. Brother Sun, what are you talking about? Wang Jitao pretended to be very angry and shouted, Are you talking like a human? Wang Jitao, what do you mean? Sun Jiwei suddenly heard Wang Jitao scolding him and asked with some displeasure. Brother Sun, are you treating me as an outsider? Wang Jitao said angrily, So what if you don't have money? I have it. Let's eat and I'll pay for it. Who are we? Brother Sun, what you said just now was a bit wrong, right? Wang Jitao's words were very rude, but Sun Jiwei still liked it. When he heard Wang Jitao was angry with him because of this matter, he was almost moved to tears. It's my fault. You're right. Who are the two of us? We're good brothers. It had to be said that Wang Jitao was very good at analyzing the thoughts of others. As this kid grew older, he became more insidious. Are you okay now? I'll treat you to a drink. Wang Jitao said, I just happen to have 10,000 yuan in cash. You can take it and spend it first. My dad just gave it to me yesterday. Sun Jiwei was stunned. What will you do if you give it to me? Me? What's the difference if I keep the money with you? Wang Jitao smiled generously. Good. Well said. Brother Wang, you are my good brother for life. Sun Jiwei was so excited that he was about to dance. Wang Jitao was a little amused. 10,000 yuan made you so excited? If I wasn't very clear about your background, I would really wonder if you were the young master of the Sun family. Let's talk while we drink. We won't stop until we're drunk. Wang Jitao said, Fuck Yang Ming. I'll think of a way for you. It's okay. I'll definitely ask you to kill him. Sun Jiwei replied, Where are we going? Let's go to Heavenly Earth. That's your brother's business. Now that I'm in an economic crisis, I'll save as much as I can. Wang Jitao did him a favor again. Brother Wang, you're so kind. You're really thinking about me. Sun Jiwei's mood was now surging to the point of no return. After checking for a while, he didn't find any valuable information. Yang Ming simply closed the web page. He couldn't help it. He was a special case. There were probably only a few people in the world who had special abilities. Moreover, they might not be from the same era. Moreover, this kind of people would protect themselves well like Yang Ming and not let their abilities be discovered by others. Therefore, it was even more impossible for related information to appear on the internet. The things on the internet, to put it bluntly, were the imagination of some people who had nothing to do all day long. There was no basis for it. If these things were really correct, then there would be many more special ability users in the world. Since he figured this out, Yang Ming didn't intend to check anymore. It didn't make any sense. It was all useless. Yang Ming opened QQ. He hadn't been online for a few days. He was busy with this and that. He didn't have time to go online. With the sound of beep 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 beep, Yang Ming received a lot of offline messages. Yang Ming clicked on them. The first thing that came into view was Qin Mingyan's message. There's no true love in this world. Are you there? Then there was a smiley face. There's no true love in this world. No? Where are you? Where did you go? There's no true love in this world. Yang Ming, why haven't you been online these days? What are you busy with? There's no true love in this world. Look for me when you're online. Yang Ming smiled and replied to Qin Mingyan's message. Wife, I have a lot of things to do at home these days. I just finished. Are you looking for me? What's the matter? It didn't take long for Qin Mingyan's message to come back. What wife? Don't call me that. I haven't agreed to be your wife yet. There's no true love in this world. Why do you wear the jade pendant my mother gave you all day long? There's no true love in this world. I'm willing. There's no true love in this world. Why are you looking for me? There's no true love in this world. It's okay. My dad is at home today. I wanted to ask you to come over, but you weren't online. I thought you must be very busy, so I didn't look for you. There's no true love in this world, I see. I really don't have time. My elder sister invited me to dinner today. There's no true love in this world. Then another day. There's no hurry. Anyway, you've seen my parents. There's no true love in this world. Yeah, I am closer to your dad than you are to my mom. There's no true love in this world. This situation will change in the future. There's no true love in this world. Right, my mom asked you to come to our house. He wants to train you in cooking. There's no true love in this world. Okay, I will go when I am free. I can watch over you to prevent you from flirting with other women. Yang Ming saw the message sent by Chen Mingyan. He suddenly sweated. AI, this little vinegar jar. It will be a serious problem in the future. If it isn't solved properly, then Lan Ling, Lin Jiyun, Xiaoqing, and even Suya can't coexist peacefully with her. After chatting with Chen Mingyan for a while, Yang Ming suddenly remembered that there were a few offline messages that he hadn't opened yet. So he quickly opened them. One of them was from Zhang Bin. He sent him a URL. Yang Ming closed it directly. This kid didn't send anything good. Maybe he got hit by a Trojan from some vulgar website at home. Another one was from I Am a Superstar. It told Yang Ming to turn on the TV and watch her interview. Yang Ming looked at the time. Damn, it was actually from the noon of the day before yesterday. Yang Ming had to pretend that he didn't see it and turned it off. The last one was from Wild Female Teacher. She asked Yang Ming if he had time to chat with her. Yang Ming was a little puzzled. Generally, Wild Female Teacher looked for him to play do diju. She rarely looked for him to chat. Chapter 461. Yang Ming quickly replied to her and told Wild Female Teacher that he was online. After a while, Wild Female Teacher's message came back. Yang Ming almost went offline. Why did you only reply now? You haven't been online today? Asked Wild Female Teacher. Not only today, I haven't been online for 2 days. Yang Ming smiled bitterly. Oh, you haven't been online for 2 days? So busy? Said Wild Female Teacher. There are too many things at home. What happened to you? You don't want to play fight the landlord with me? Instead you want to talk? Asked Yang Ming. And I'm not in a good mood. Said Wild Female Teacher. Not in a good mood? What's wrong? Or is it a relationship problem? Without asking, Yang Ming also knew that Wild Female Teacher was most annoyed by her relationship problems. True feelings. I've been very upset for a while. I don't know how to tell you. Wild Female Teacher sent a bitter smile emoji. What's there to be unhappy about? Just say it. Yang Ming patiently explained. After all, when he was frustrated, Wild Female Teacher also comforted him. One shouldn't forget one's roots, so Yang Ming was particularly concerned about Wild Female Teacher's matter. I originally thought that as long as I met him I could restore the feeling in the past. But why do I feel that my heart and his are getting further and further apart? Said Wild Female Teacher faintly. Did you change or did he change? Yang Ming was keenly aware of the key to the matter. I don't know. It may be me or it may be him. Although our identities are different when we meet each other, I feel that my heart hasn't changed. Said Wild Female Teacher. Then did his heart change? Asked Yang Ming. I don't know. I really don't know, but he has a girlfriend. Said Wild Female Teacher. He has a girlfriend? Yang Ming frowned and typed, "To timing?" Not really. After all, he and I don't have any substantial relationship. Wild Female Teacher exculpated. I'll tell you this from a man's perspective. Most men are lustful. They like to eat from the bowl and look at the pot. You can't be so naive to think that he will dump his current girlfriend to be with you. Before he starts to cheat on you, I advise you to forget about him as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll regret it. Yang Ming looked at the words he typed and felt ashamed. In real life he was two-timing? That's already N of them, right? But on the internet he could teach others righteously. You mean you want me to give up? After a long while, Wild Female Teacher replied. It was obvious that Yang Ming's words took her a long time to digest. Yes, I think your current situation is clearly one-sided love. At first I thought that you two were interested in each other, but now it seems that since he already has a girlfriend you have no chance. Yang Ming said. Why? What if he breaks up with his girlfriend? Wild Female Teacher didn't give up and asked. Break up. Today he can break up with his current girlfriend for you. In other words, Tomorrow he can break up with you for someone else. Is it interesting to be with this kind of person? Yang Ming sneered and sent a message. You're right. That's indeed the case. I understand. I will think about it. After a while, Yang Ming sent a few question marks over and wild female teacher replied. I hope you can understand it. The road of life is long. We have to be young people with ideals and beliefs. Don't be blinded by love. Yang Ming continued to boast. I know. Thank you. You can continue with your work. I'm going offline. Wild female teacher said. K88. I'm going offline too. Yang Ming turned off the computer and almost laughed out loud. I'm so great. I'm at the level of a psychology expert. If I lose my job in the future, I can consider opening a psychology consultation clinic. What is called a man with a human face and a beast heart? I'm a typical example. You say one thing but you do something completely different. Yang Ming felt that he had more and more potential to be a profiteer. I have to have a good rest tonight. I have to go to school again tomorrow. After dinner, Yang Ming and his parents watched TV for a while. The family was happy and harmonious. Wang Jitao brought Sun Jiwei to earthly paradise. After a round of drinking and flattery, Sun Jiwei once again made up his mind to mess with Yang Ming, but in a different way. But when it came to underhandedness, Sun Jiwei didn't have the nerve. But he didn't, Wang Jitao did. Wang Jitao was a master of underhandedness. Wang Jitao now had a plan but he didn't dare to implement it. Sun Jiwei didn't have a suitable plan, so the two people hit it off. Qin Fei didn't have a good holiday these days. The day before yesterday he received a response from the traffic police department. Recently there were many new Mercedes-Benz S600 cars in Songjiang City, but the procedures were very problematic. The license plates were basically from Shandong and Inner Mongolia. Originally, cars with fake license plates were very common. It was not a big case and the traffic police department could deal with it. But this time was different. These new Mercedes-Benz cars were brand new, and the owners were also some people who were not to be trifled with. The traffic police department couldn't investigate, so they could only report to the criminal investigation team. Qin Fei's keen sense of professionalism quickly picked up on an unusual scent. There were so many cars with the same model with incomplete procedures around the end of the year. What did this mean? What do you think? Qin Fei roughly finished the information he got, and then asked the others in the room. It's hard to say. A very senior criminal policeman hesitated and said, this kind of thing is just an ordinary traffic violation. Fake license plates? It's not a big deal. But if it's a big deal, it involves a lot of people. Of course, I understand what you said. Qin Fei smiled bitterly. I want to ask for your opinion, not for you to tell me whether it's a big deal or a small deal. Qin Fei couldn't help it. Just like what the person said just now was equivalent to not saying anything. How could he not understand these principles? Do you still need to say this? Xia Shui suddenly interrupted. It's so obvious. It must be smuggling. When these words came out, the audience was in an uproar. Yes, smuggling was a big case. Although Songjiang was a city near the sea, because its own geographical location wasn't very good, and there weren't many cargo ships unloading here at the port by the sea, there were only a few cases of smuggling over the years. Even if there were, it was the kind of private small fishing boat that smuggled in some electronic products. The amount was very small and it wasn't a big case. But now it involved cars. This was a big problem. However, how could those ordinary small fishing boats afford to smuggle cars? Moreover, it could be seen from the buyers of those cars that the sellers were also very powerful. If this case was investigated, it would definitely involve a lot of people. It was likely that a big shot in Songjiang would be involved. Therefore, Qin Fei was also in a difficult situation. Qin Fei was an upright person. He also knew that once this case was classified as smuggling and investigated, he would definitely ask until the end. He wouldn't give up until he found out the mastermind behind the scenes. And this truth, who didn't understand it? Therefore, everyone couldn't say anything. It wasn't so easy to be the first one to stand out. But Xia Shui, who was a hothead, didn't understand this. She directly put it on the table. But Xia Shui was right. Even Qin Fei himself was more inclined to the direction of smuggling, so he nodded and said, let's do it this way. Since everyone thinks that this case is relatively big, then I will first consult with Chief Wang before making a decision. Wang's Century Xiongfeng Group. Wang Shifan frowned and looked at Su Daji. His face was a little gloomy. What's the matter with you? Didn't I ask you to send the cars out to the province? Why are they all in the local area? President Liu and President Liu's company just happened to want to buy cars. And the price was high. I thought that they are all working in state-owned enterprises. They have strong connections. It's not a problem to sell the cars to them. They can handle the procedures themselves. We don't have to worry about anything, said Su Daji. There are only 2 cars. What about the others? Why are there 6 in Songjiang City? Asked Wang Shifan. They are all friends introduced by President Liu and President Liu, Su Daji said carefully. I thought that they have a lot of connections. There shouldn't be any problem, right? Bullshit. Wang Shifan was so angry that he slammed the table. You are really a fucking pighead. For such a small amount of money. How many times have I told you? Don't let the cars out of the city. Did you fucking take it as a passing wind? Chapter 462. President Wang, I also want the company to make more money, Su Daji said with a bitter face. In fact, his original intention was indeed so. In order to make Wang Shifan value his ability to do things more, he privately decided to sell the car to several powerful big bosses in the city. He also made a lot of friends, but he didn't expect Wang Shifan to be so angry. Sudi didn't understand. Why is this? How troublesome is it to sell the car to other places? I still have to drive out of the city to deliver the goods at the designated location. Not to mention that it may be stopped by the toll booth, but it is also not safe. What if I am betrayed? It is so safe to deliver the goods in the city. You don't have to worry about anything. When the car is driven, you can just take the money and leave. Later things have nothing to do with you. You don't have to worry about the procedures. Moreover, these buyers were a little famous in the local area. They weren't afraid of being betrayed in the transaction. After all, they knew each other well. No one would do that kind of thing. Give to the company? I think they gave you personal benefits, right? It was no wonder that Wang Shifan would think so. Anyone would think so. Otherwise, why didn't Su Daji do what I asked? I really didn't take any benefits. Su Daji was a little anxious. Brother-in-law, we are all a family. Can I do something that will damage the company's interests? Relatives. Wang Shifan sighed. How many companies have gone bankrupt because their own people took advantage of them? They fattened their own pockets and lost the company's interests. Brother-in-law, you have to speak with a conscience. Since the day I started working in the company, I have always been thinking about the company's interests. Su Daji said. Wang Shifan snorted. Don't say these useless things. When you contacted them, they didn't know your true identity, right? I don't know. They all know that my nickname is Cat. Su Daji said quickly. Didn't they ask where you came from? Asked Wang Shifan. I said that I came from Fujian. Su Daji said. Well, during this time you should hide first. Don't show up. Wang Shifan said coldly. Su Daji was stunned. It's not that serious, right? If this isn't serious, then what is serious? Wang Shifan said. You are really a fucking pig's head. You will make trouble for me. Is this considered a paid vacation? Su Daji asked carefully. Bullshit. You still want to get a salary? You get out of here and stay at home. The benefits you have gotten these days are enough for you to squander. If it weren't for the fact that you are my brother-in-law, I would have sent you directly to the police station. Wang Shifan waved his hand and said impatiently. I really didn't get any benefits. Su Daji said anxiously. Alright, stop it. Let's go. I'm annoyed when I see you now. Wang Shifan scolded. Wang Shifan was shocked when he heard Su Daji's 3 okay words. He quickly shouted, Wait. Wait. I will write a note for you. You go to the finance room to get 10,000 yuan first. If it's not enough, call me again. Wang Shifan said with a sigh. He thought that now I can only settle this guy first. Su Daji didn't even say thank you this time. He was also very angry. During this time he had done his best for the company, but in the end he was treated like this. 10,000 yuan hee. Although it doesn't seem to be a small amount compared with what I did, it is simply to send away a beggar. Although Su Daji didn't know how much the cost of those smuggled cars was, he wasn't stupid. The price was hundreds of thousands, so the profit was definitely not small. It should be said that it was a huge profit. Otherwise, it was impossible for so many people to try and engage in this high-risk industry. Su Daji sneered in his heart. You want to send me to the police station? You will die of exhaustion. Do you dare? I am afraid that once I enter the police station, these things can't be hidden from you. Let's see who has the bigger problem. Don't say that I didn't get any benefits. Even if I did get any benefits, it is at most an economic crime. What about you? Smuggling. That is a job that will cost you your head. Su Daji didn't say much. He picked up Wang Shifan's approval on the table and walked out of the office. He was very disappointed now. In the end he ended up like this. However, what could he say? The company belongs to the Wang family. What does it have to do with me? What is a relative? Isn't he fired just because he said so? Su Daji went to the finance office to take 10,000 yuan and returned home. Wang Shifan's heart was also very irritated. Does this Su Daji not have a brain? Wasn't he looking for trouble by sending all the goods to the city? Seems that I have to stop for a while. I originally wanted to find Song Heng to take a batch of goods, but now I can't. I will wait until after the new year. Wang Shifan cursed a few words, then called his friend and asked him to help keep an eye on the news. If there was any news he would immediately report to him. Early the next morning Yang Ming received a call from Zhang Bin and went downstairs. They made an appointment yesterday to go to school together today. Zhang Bin drove to pick him up. Yang Ming got into the back seat of the car because Zhao Sisi was already sitting in the front passenger seat. Are we going to pick up Chen Mengyan? Asked Zhang Bin. And I'll call her and ask her to come downstairs. Yang Ming nodded. After the three of them picked up Chen Mengyan they rushed to school. After New Year's Day the final exam was not far away. Unlike high school there were monthly exams and midterm exams. Every semester there was a final exam. These days it was also the time when the attendance rate in each classroom was the highest. Because the teachers of each subject were drawing questions for the students. Anyway, the university curriculum was like this. Even if you didn't study for a semester, as long as you understood the questions drawn by the teachers of each subject before the final exam, the exam results would definitely not be low. Yang Ming didn't care. It would be difficult to get a low score if he continued to use his special ability during the exam. However, Yang Ming still walked into the classroom with a book like everyone else. It was still necessary to put on an act. Otherwise, if you didn't study for a semester and got a high score in the exam, anyone would think that you were cheating. So in order not to cause unnecessary trouble, Yang Ming took notes seriously with the textbook. Wang Jitao didn't appear in front of Yang Ming and Zhou Jiajia today. After all, Wang Jitao also had to take the final exam. Although Wang Jitao didn't care about this, if you couldn't pass the exam, you couldn't get a diploma. During the break, Zhou Jiajia whispered to Yang Ming, Yang Ming, I'm sorry about that day. My mom has been with me since I got home. I couldn't text you. I made you worry. It's okay. Yang Ming was a little puzzled. You and your mom are together. It doesn't affect texting, right? It was just that Zhou Jiajia's family matters didn't have much to do with Yang Ming. Yang Ming didn't ask much. Right, if my mom looks for you, don't be angry. Zhou Jiajia hesitated and said with a red face. Your mom looks for me? Why does she look for me? Yang Ming was baffled. She thinks that we have that kind of relationship. Zhou Jiajia said while biting her lip. What kind of relationship? Yang Ming didn't understand a little, but it wasn't his fault. He didn't think that he could have anything beyond friendship with Zhou Jiajia. It's boyfriend and girlfriend. Zhou Jiajia said. Your mom thinks so? Yang Ming was stunned. Probably. If my mom looks for you, you don't have to care about her. Zhou Jiajia said. Well, there was no such thing in the first place. What is she suspecting? Yang Ming smiled indifferently. Zhou Jiajia moved her lips and wanted to say something, but she didn't say it in the end. At noon, Yang Ming was ready to call Chen Mengyan to have lunch with her, but Lin Jiun's call came in first. Oh. Yang Ming didn't hesitate to pick up the phone. Jiun, what's the matter? Yang Ming. I have to trouble you again. Lin Jiun said with a trembling voice. What's the matter? What's the matter? Lin Jiun's words made Yang Ming somewhat inexplicable. However, Yang Ming also felt that it wouldn't be a trivial matter. Otherwise, Lin Jiun wouldn't be so upset. Jiun, what's wrong? Yang Ming comforted, don't worry. You tell me, where are you? I'm at school, Lin Jiun said. School? Yang Ming was stunned. Did someone bully you at school? Chapter 463. It's not me. It's my father who had an accident. Lin Jiyun's voice had a sobbing tone. Uncle? Yang Ming was stunned and asked, "What happened to Uncle?" "I know. My mother just called me and said that my father is now hiding in Donghai. He doesn't dare to go out. It seems that someone is going to sue him or something. Anyway, he's going to be sued. My mother said that she is going to Donghai now. She may be gone for a few days before she comes back. She asked me to take care of myself." "Yang Ming, what should I do?" Lin Jiyun said in a hurry. Yang Ming was a little confused. Lin Jiyun didn't say it very clearly, but Yang Ming still understood the general meaning. That is, Lin Jiyun's father got into some trouble in Donghai. As a result, he was going to be sued and he was still hiding. "Where is your father now?" Yang Ming sorted out his thoughts and asked. "I don't know. My mother didn't tell me." "Yang Ming, I want to go to Donghai to find my father now." Lin Jiyun said, "I'm worried." "You?" Yang Ming didn't know what to say. "Little girl, aren't you adding to the trouble if you go? This isn't something you can solve." "What's wrong?" Lin Jiyun didn't understand why Yang Ming suddenly said you and didn't follow up. "Jiyun, the most important thing for you now is to contact your mother and tell her not to act rashly." Yang Ming hesitated and said, "There are some things that can't be solved just by her going. Sometimes it's adding to the trouble." Lin Jiyun was shocked. When she heard what Yang Ming said, she also felt that this was the case. She quickly said, "Okay, I will call my mother and see if she left." As Lin Jiyun said this, she didn't wait for Yang Ming to say anything and hung up the phone. Yang Ming shook his head. "It seems that I have to make a trip to the East China Sea." Yang Ming took out his mobile phone and called Ho Junhan. Then he instructed, "Big Ho, do you have your own confidant in the company?" "Yes, they are my former comrades. They are definitely reliable." "Do you have any instructions, Brother Yang?" Ho Junhan replied. "Come with me to the East Sea to do something," Yang Ming said. "When are we leaving?" Ho Junhan never asked. "Wait for my news." Yang Ming hung up and called Sun Jie again. "Sun Jie, I'm Yang Ming." Yang Ming said. "I didn't see the caller ID but I recognized it." "What's the matter?" asked Sun Jie. "Lend me the car. It's urgent." Yang Ming and Sun Jie were not polite and said directly. "Which one? Audi R8? Sun Jie was also used to the way Yang Ming spoke. Usually Yang Ming's tone meant that there was something very important. "And can I?" asked Yang Ming. "If I say no, you won't lend it?" Sun Jie smiled. "Come to my company to get it. Should I send someone to send it to you?" "Send it to me." At the entrance of Songjiang Industry University, Yang Ming said, "I'm going now. 15 minutes. Sun Jie said, "What happened? Why are you in such a hurry?" "I'm going to Donghai. My friend is in some trouble." Yang Ming said truthfully. He was not going to hide it from Sun Jie. If the matter was really big, he might have to use Sun Jie's hand to solve it. "Do you need help?" asked Sun Jie faintly. "I will definitely not be polite when I need it." Yang Ming smiled. "That's true. When you asked me, you were never polite. It was as if I owed you." Sun Jie smiled bitterly. "I don't know who owes who. Things are two-sided. I'm comfortable and you're refreshed." Yang Ming smiled. "Go to hell." Sun Jie hung up the phone directly, but her heart was beating fiercely. Yang Ming's hint gave her a special feeling. Sun Jie knocked on her head. "Sun Jie, do you want to have a relationship with a younger man?" "Sun Jie, don't tell me you want to have a relationship with a younger man. It's impossible." Sun Jie sighed. She picked up the car key and handed it to one of the company's men. She asked him to send the car to Yang Ming. When Sun Jie's phone call was just disconnected, Lin Jiyun's phone call came in. Moreover, there were several missed calls. It seemed that Lin Jiyun had called many times. "How's it going, Jiyun?" Yang Ming picked up the phone and asked. "Yang Ming, I can't contact my mother. She doesn't have a mobile phone. No one is answering the phone at home. She must have set off." Lin Jiyun said anxiously, "What should I do?" "Don't worry. I will think of a way. Where are you now?" Yang Ming comforted her. "I am in the dormitory." Lin Jiyun replied. "You are now waiting for me at the main entrance of the school. I will go there too. We will think of a way when we meet." Yang Ming instructed calmly. It was useless to be anxious now. The most important thing was to be calm. "Okay, I will go there now," Lin Jiyun said immediately. Yang Ming shook his head. As he walked, he called the bus station and asked about the departure time of the next bus to Donghai. Shin Yueping didn't have a car, so the only way to get to Donghai was to take a bus at the bus station. Although she could buy a train ticket, it was more troublesome than a bus ticket. When he got the news that the bus would depart at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Yang Ming was relieved. It was now 11:30. There was still an hour and a half. He should be able to intercept Shin Yueping. The reason why Yang Ming didn't want Shin Yueping to participate was that women were sometimes more impulsive. Now, the more impulsive Lin Jiyun's father was, the easier it was to ruin things. Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun almost rushed to the school gate at the same time. From the sadness between Lin Jiyun's eyebrows, Yang Ming could see her inner anxiety. AI. Yang Ming couldn't help but sigh. Why is fate so unfair? Lin Jiyun is such a good girl, but she has suffered so many hardships. Don't worry. I have called the bus station. The bus to Donghai will depart at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We can still make it if we go now. Yang Ming was afraid that Lin Jiyun would be anxious, so he quickly told her the news he got when they met. Lin Jiyun nodded absent-mindedly. The sudden change made Lin Jiyun a little overwhelmed. On New Year's Day, her father called and said that the business in Donghai was very good. He had earned more than 10,000 yuan, so he wouldn't come back for the holiday. The mother and daughter were very happy at the time. They went to Auntie Hong's small restaurant to celebrate. Who would have thought that such a troublesome thing would happen in just a few days? And Lin Jiyun nodded numbly. She didn't know why, but after seeing Yang Ming, her upset heart slowly calmed down. It was a feeling of finding support and sustenance. It was very comfortable. Wait a minute. My friend will send the car and then we will go to the Songjiang bus station together. Yang Ming said. Lin Jiyun didn't make a sound. He just looked at Yang Ming. Now she wanted to lean on Yang Ming's arms to find the familiar sense of security, but reason told Lin Jiyun that she couldn't. Not to mention that Yang Ming wasn't her real boyfriend. Even if they were secretly acting for real sometimes, it was impossible to do it at the school gate. This was causing trouble for Yang Ming. What if his girlfriend saw it? What should I do? Lin Jiyun's heart was struggling and tumbling. Until Sun Jie's men sent the car and Yang Ming let her get in the car, Lin Jiyun regained her senses. Yang Ming wasn't very used to driving the sports car suddenly. However, Yang Ming had watched a lot of videos about the driving of sports cars before. This was necessary to be a qualified assassin. Gradually, he became familiar with the driving habits and came to the door of the Songjiang bus station. Yang Ming looked at the watch on the mobile phone. There were still 40 minutes before the departure. There's still time. After buying 2 station tickets, Yang Ming and Lin Jiyun came to the waiting room together. Over there, Yang Ming opened his eyes and said to Lin Jiyun. After entering the waiting room, Yang Ming closed his eyes and used the all-angle special ability. He quickly found the position of Shin Yueping. Mom. Lin Jiyun threw herself on Shin Yueping, and tears couldn't help but flow down. Yun Air? How did you find this place? Shin Yueping opened her mouth in surprise. Don't cry. Be obedient. Auntie, what is the specific situation with Uncle? Yang Ming sat next to Shin Yueping and asked. Yang Ming, you're here too? Shin Yueping just paid attention to Lin Jiyun. She didn't expect Yang Ming to come too. And Auntie, I heard that Uncle had an accident, so I came over. Yang Ming nodded. Yang Ming, I actually don't know much about this matter, but I heard from Jiyun's father that his boss ran away after signing the contract. Now, the 2 companies that signed the contract with him are suing Jiyun's father for fraud. Shin Yueping frowned and sighed. I want to go over and take a look. I want to talk to the 2 companies. That you're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.